Hey, what's good, Devin? We're just gonna do a little quick, quick little live. Just got a comment from Jesus. So we were gonna do a little talk on Christ consciousness from a Black Jesus and a white Jesus, if you will. So he should be joining in. So we'll hey, what's going on, Blessed Vet? We're just kind of jumping on real quick. Ray Splendor, Thanksgiving, what's going on, y'all? So what we're going to do is we're going to have a conversation, and hopefully he'll join in soon. It was an idea from another guy, a white Jesus talking to a Black Jesus, and we're going to talk about Christ consciousness, which is something that we all are participating in, and we just thought it'd be cool to talk about it just from that perspective. So it was going on, Greg Veazey. So I'm waiting for my man to join in, and we'll see what he's talking about in a second. So hope y'all having a good Sunday and everything. We're gonna have a little Spacecast tomorrow, and just keep the momentum going. Definitely feels like it's building up, and just we're trying to strike while the iron's hot. So I am trying to see what's up with, we'll give him a few seconds, but other than that, just keeping the momentum going. And I think more and more people are starting to see through what's going on. So we'll keep on doing it. What's going on, Mr. Roach? Yeah, waiting on not Jesus. And let's see where he is. But again, we're going to be talking about Christ consciousness and how Jesus was a man, just like a man or woman, just like people on this live, but just accessing Christ consciousness, and that Christ consciousness coming back is what we're all participating in. So. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I could. Here we go. Send it to Jesus. All right. We just sent it to Jesus. So we'll see if Jesus comes on. Yeah, it should be fun. I've never talked to this guy. So we'll all be introducing ourselves together. So that's the plan. What's going on, Sam, Jeff? Appreciate y'all joining in. What we're doing on this one, we're going to be talking about Christ consciousness, and we're going to just have a conversation. One of the guys I saw on TikTok wanted to go live. He goes by I think Not Jesus, KNOT. Would you steal $1 from 1 million different people, or 1 million from one person? But I still, hopefully I won't have to steal from anybody, but good question. It's probably easier to steal 1 million from one person than to get $1 from a million people. So if I'm a thief and I wanted to get the money, I would focus on dealing with that one person versus the million. So it's a weird question, but yeah, that's how I would do it. Not Jesus. What's good, man? Grand Rising, boss. Glad you could join in, man. Yeah, so we're going to have this conversation, and it's going to be interesting because, we're talking about Christ consciousness. Two people that haven't met each other. So Not Jesus just jumped on, and yeah, and we're just letting everyone be a part of it. I'm interested to kind of, it's always fascinating to me. And I talk to different people. I was talking to this guy, not giving me the option to request live. I'm not sure what's up with that. Expanding reality, Brandon, what's good, man? What's good? I should be sending you something today, actually, Brandon. So what we're doing now on this live is Not Jesus, who's having trouble jumping in. You got to see what's going on with him. Let's see if I can do something here. we just had an idea of talking about Christ consciousness, a white Jesus and a black Jesus talking about it, and the Christ consciousness not having to do anything with any color or anything like that. So, hey, what's going on, Alexis? I don't know what's going on, not Jesus. Can you see if you could request to come in? I know you said you tried. I don't know how to do it on my end. Let me see. Let's see. No, that's not gonna do it. Maybe I'm gonna try to leave. Yeah, see if that works, man. Yeah, so for those that are joining, this guy right here, not Jesus, also talks about Christ consciousness. And we thought it'd be good to just have a live and kind of discuss it from a white Jesus and a black Jesus standpoint, and what we can agree on as far as Christ consciousness, which we're all a part of. So I just thought it would be an interesting conversation. Hey, what's going on, Lisa? Ireland, what's good in Ireland? So yeah, we're gonna, it only gives me a symbol to ask a question. And you're asking the wrong one to add you in on the live. I've seen it done before, but I've never initiated on this end. And what's going on, Doug? We're trying to get not Jesus in on this thing. You probably have to go live on its own and come in. Yeah, see if you can do that now, Jesus. See if you can go live on your own and rejoin. I haven't done this part of it, so we can. I don't know, it's not giving me the option to request you to approve me to go live. Yeah, let me see. Let me see. We'll figure this out. This is just tips. I'm looking at the tips and you can't see me. I guess you can probably see me looking, but I don't see me looking. This doesn't show me how to add you. What's the topic of the day? The topic of the day is going to be Christ consciousness. And what we were trying to do, and we're having trouble connecting, is there's this guy on here, not Jesus. So we were playing with the idea of white Jesus and a black Jesus talking about Christ consciousness, which we're all a part of, and really showing that it has nothing to do with color and nothing to do with anyone being special. It's something that we all can access. So there we go. There we go. Hey, what's good, man?
We have the co-host. Okay.
Yeah, nice. Finally got you, man. Nice meeting you, man. I was telling the people this is our first time talking to each other, man. So, and you're in Florida.
Yeah, Jacksonville, Florida.
Got you. Yeah, I'm from Florida as well. Were you born and raised there, or are you just staying there now?
No, I started a journey about 8 months ago. And there's a little feedback coming through, but
yeah, this is
anyway. I started in Birmingham, Alabama. You know, I've been all over through the military and stuff, but yeah, I started this journey and we've been on it for about 8 months. It's led me to Florida. And from what I can tell, I'm being called on the road, like, you know, missionary style, like, which is kind of, you know, man, that the noise is messing me up. The feedback.
Sorry. The feedback.
I can hear my voice.
All right, that's this recording. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I could switch it up.
I got you. Testing.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just
not there anymore.
Is that better for you?
That's way better.
Cool.
Yeah, that's way better. I can handle that.
All right, perfect.
All right. So, I mean, first of all, I think let me start back a little bit further. So, really, the first call that I got was in 2012, That was the first time that source really came to me. And I was just explaining that to somebody else, that one of my other friends that jumped on the live while I was waiting on you. But yeah, it really started then. And kind of like Jonah. You're familiar with Jonah and the well?
Yes, yeah, the book of Jonah, him? Yeah.
Right. So I told consciousness, you know, I'm not ready, man. I'm happy where I'm at. You know, I was in a different place in my life. You know, I was drinking too much. I didn't have right priorities, and life flanked me, and Source told me, okay, you can stay there, but that's not going to be a great decision for you to make.
Hmm.
And you know, they Source put me in a whale for 5 months, basically. And I had to come to the Bible. I started back with the Bible. I started back to my roots. And you know, I got to the end of that Bible and I was like, oh, consciousness released me from that world, right? And I was like, okay, well, that must be all the answers. This must be it. I must be on the right path. Consciousness said, okay, you read the Bible. Now I want you to read the rest of the 4,200 religions. Like, what? 4,200 religions? Now, they didn't want me to go and read word for word every 4,200. They just wanted me to get out there and expand, to show what I'm like, to get me to understand what we're fighting, what we're trying to accomplish, and what we need to come to, right? And the funny thing is, I found truth in all the different religions that I was reading. It just wasn't absolute truth. It was just bits and pieces. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, we are being lied to at every turn. You know, most of them all start with sin, man. You know, you're not a sinner. We're not a sinner. Sin is designed to keep you in the brain and out of the soul. Sin is designed to keep you trapped in your head, man, to not allow us to see. And I know you know all this. I assume you do. I'm just talking like people are brand new listening.
No, that's fine.
And, you know, I assume that they keep us in the head. That keeps us out of the soul. And it's not just one religion. You know, the Catholic religion, they mastered it. They really figured out how to use the word to control the masses. And that's the reason why he was crucified. Because he wouldn't shut up. Because he kept talking and spreading the good word.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing about it this time. You know, we were burned at the stake in the Salem witch trials days. You know, we all have our tragedies. We all have our cross to bear, you know. But in today, there is no burning witches at the stake. There is no crucifying Jesus on a cross. I mean, I know hateful things happen in this world all the time, but that's not going to happen again. Christ consciousness is coming back in 4% of the population, and it doesn't matter what color you are. You don't have to win the lottery. Like, you don't have to be special. You don't have to be born from pure blood or any craziness like that. Like, it is what it is, and nobody can stop it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Christianity had its reign. Christianity had its time. And the thing is, Jesus could have stopped it at any time if he deemed that it was too evil to continue, but it had its purpose. We had to come to Christ consciousness before we could understand the bigger picture. Like, it's a lot just to accept the Bible, you know? It's a lot just to come to the fact that, what do you mean we're not going to die when this body stops functioning? You know, like, what do you mean I'm an immortal soul? Like, that's powerful to know that you're an immortal soul, to know that you've lived more life than you can imagine, you know? Like, just because I'm white right now doesn't mean that I wasn't, black in another life or Asian in another life, or because we all are, that we are
Right.
all the same.
Right,
We
right.
just have it different perceptions, and that's the most powerful thing. And Steve, I was trying to explain this to my family the other day. There's people that the person who looks like the white Jesus can get to and talk to and get them to understand that you won't be able to. And there's people that you can, get to see the real truth and that I would never be able to get to. That's why 4% of Christ consciousness had to come back. We already tried with one human and it didn't work. Jesus gave it a great try, and he was a badass ascended master who could, do whatever his desire, his ego wanted him to do. Like, he could do it all. And he couldn't do it then, but he set the standard for us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's funny you say that, because earlier in my journey, as I was trying to talk to my family, it was like I felt that my message would be received if I looked differently. Like they were looking for someone like you, and not someone like me. So when you said that, I definitely feel you. But that's just the superficial side, and they have an image that they're looking for, that they were given. What we gonna say?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
it is, yeah. I mean, I have the same thought, man. Man, if I didn't look like Jesus, I bet you'd listen to me.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's the reason why Jesus couldn't preach to his hometown. That's why nobody listened to him there. They were like, "Oh, you're just a carpenter. You can't. You're not the person that's been going around town to town doing all of these healings and magic and stuff. That's not you. You build houses."
Right. Right. Yeah. It's interesting that it works that way, that sometimes the people immediately around you don't see you. Sometimes I've heard that saying where you can't be a prophet in your own town or something like that, to where the people around you, it's hard for them to see the change that you can make. If they've seen you one way, they kind of stereotype you in that way, and they don't see the growth, and sometimes they don't want to see the growth.
Right.
But it is what it is. I just like that regardless of.
I think there's a little lag. I'm sorry.
No, you good. Go ahead.
Okay, but yeah, you're right. That vibration, when you start vibrating at such a high frequency in source consciousness, when you tap into that line, you give everybody around you. You can irritate their soul, their spirit, because they're functioning in the ego and not in the spirit.
Yeah, you're right. So you mentioned reading the Bible. So
I found that out with my family too.
Yeah. Now
it's like a 3-second lag.
Gotcha. Yeah, I see it too. So we just watch how we overlap. But I'm just curious how you came in, because you mentioned reading the Bible, so that makes me assume that you've had some history with it. But how did you come to your realization? Like what you can give me the short version, but I'm always curious how people come to the realization, because most of us have been indoctrinated on some level, and we've got to work through that. So I'm just curious how you were able to work through it.
Yes. So I grew up like most people in the Bible Belt. I told you I was born in Alabama. I was raised in the hypocrite church, where everybody was keeping up with the Joneses, and everybody was showboating and stuff. So I came to Jesus really early, and I turned away from him really fast. And I had to not have a relationship with him in the early years to have such a great relationship with him now. Now, I mean, literally, Okay, so I'm not perfect, of course. I still get triggered by the world, and they do lower my vibrations when I do it, so that can't stop my access. But if I go into a room by myself, meditate, and connect to the ascended master Jesus, I can do it just like that. Like, he has given me a relationship with me now that I would have never been able to have then. And it's just amazing, man. And I do, my ego felt bad for turning my back on him, and but he understood that wasn't him. That was the church I was turning my back on. That was different messages I was turning my back on because they were lying to me in the beginning, and I felt that. We're not sinners. We're not some scum of the earth that has to be saved and wait on heaven. Heaven is here, and we can manifest it. We should be manifesting it now. Nobody is better than. I'm pretty advanced through my spiritual teachings and my journey, but I'm not better than the guy who, indulges in this matrix. I'm the same person as him. I'm the same person as you. I'm the same person as Jesus. Message is just different. We connect different. I'm coming from the soul, just like you are, and we're showing a way of a different being. Everybody gets assumed into all these video games because they know that there is more to this. Like, we're being limited. Why? We have to ask ourselves, why is video games an addiction? You can play as this character and you can do all these wonderful things in the video game. But the irony about it all is the imagination's more powerful than we can ever believe. And everything you can accomplish in that video game, you can accomplish in the mind, and it brings it into this reality. Like, that's what people are craving. That's where the fifth dimensional ascension is coming. That it's not like it's not like a end of the world thing where fire and brimstone and the apocalypse and the four horsemen are gonna destroy this earth. Why would we do that to ourselves?
Right.
Like, that doesn't make any sense. This is heaven. This is our paradise. We wouldn't destroy it. Does that not mean that there won't be trial by fire? I think there will be. I think there's a lot of bishops and popes and preacher men that are going to be scared of this, but it's not like the apocalypse, like, I don't know, it's just change.
Yeah.
And it's coming whether we want it or not.
Yeah. And it's only, to me, it's only scary for the people that want to maintain control and want to keep the same system that we have now, and they're afraid.
True.
We're excited because we want change. We want to manifest this potential that's here, unlimited and as free as we can, and really take the cap off what we can do as beings. Because I feel we've been limited and suppressed and put in boxes because it's just easier to control us that way. But now the cat's out the bag and it's not going back in. And, it's just, that's what's happening, and that's what's exciting to me because I can see it happening. I don't know the time frame of the full manifestation, but it's like the ball's already rolling. It's already in process.
Right. Exactly. And like, let me talk about this, for instance. So we know, or we've heard through the news. I don't watch the news, but I do hear the grapevine. So it's been calculated that 1 million people a month are quitting their job and doing the great resignation, right? Well, my stance on that is 1 million people a month are waking up. Does that mean everybody whose video or my content or your content need to quit their job tomorrow and put their family at risk? Hell no. Do not do that, okay? But this is planting the seed for when the opportunity arises and you can do that and provide for your family, you can take it. Like, you know, we're planting seeds for people to take power back in time. That doesn't mean that we're gonna snap all our fingers and everything is gonna be perfect. That's not the truth either. My perfection of the world, what my beauty is or what I want to live might not be yours, and that's okay, because we're still going to be able to grow it in the way we see fit, and it's going to come together and it's such a beautiful thing. Like, there's going to be a lot of people that go, oh no, wait, this isn't going to work, those two don't match up. When it comes together, it's going to be perfect, man. It's going to be beautiful. We need the different perspectives, we need the different lives. Like, you know more about your struggles than I know about your struggles. I know more about my struggles than you know about mine. And it's in that beauty, in that merge, that it's going to look like the garden is going to grow and be perfect. I truly feel that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, the variety is what's going to be the glue that it's like a puzzle. All of the pieces of the puzzle are not the same. And it's like that on purpose, but they fit together to form the big picture. If all of the pieces were the same, they wouldn't fit together. It wouldn't work. So we're different on purpose. And the whole matrix is to separate us. And now we're bringing it back together. And then we'll see how it all fits together. And that's going to be the amazing part. I mean, we haven't seen that yet. So this is something new for, I think, humanity, really. I mean, maybe it's happened in the distant past, but I mean, it's going to be something that we're a part of. It's something we're part of that creation. And I mean, I think it's not a coincidence that we chose to be here and participate at this time. All of us, the people that are on the live as well. I mean, we chose to come here to participate in this. This is like a once in a whatever event. And this is going to be, I think we're going to be examples on a lot of different levels, just because of what we've done and also where we came from, the amount of the big hole we had to get out of. So I think it's the ultimate underdog story when you think about where we came from and where we're going to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, we have other, I don't know how to explain it. Okay, have you heard of the Greys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they are the same color, the same race, the same. There's something that they lack that we don't have, you know? In that diversity, we are going to achieve something that they've been trying so hard to achieve, and they won't be able to. Because there is no, like you said, I love the puzzle pieces and stuff. It is a puzzle piece. It's a beautiful puzzle piece. And that's what makes everything so wonderful. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you just look at nature and how much. Now, I'm just going to say, if you just look at nature and how much variety is in nature, that just shows that we enjoy variety. We enjoy things that look different. We enjoy that aspect of it, you know. So we're not supposed to be the same, and we're not. I mean, all of us have different fingerprints for a reason. We're all uniquely created. We have commonality as well, but we are here to express that uniqueness also.
So I'm so glad you brought up nature, man. That's another thing about humanity that befuddles me. I was just talking about sin, we're not sin. Okay, so the Bible, the Christianity wants us to believe that we consumed an apple and that apple embedded shame into our DNA. But that's not true, because shame comes from a learned behavior. It's not inherited. It's not like breathing. You don't come with shame pre-downloaded. And that's the same with nature. Like, and nature does so many things that our ego tells us is bad, like sex and stuff like that. Like, it's wrong. We need to start listening to nature more and stop listening to these religious people, man. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think everybody's waking up to that,
Yeah, I think more definitely, and I think these kind of conversations definitely help, because a lot of people are scared. Coming up in the religion I came up in, they use more fear than anything. Like, a lot of people are not in those religions because they love God. They're in those religions because it's like hell insurance, pretty much. It's like, I don't want to go to hell, so I'm just going to do. And most of it's the bare minimum, like you say, the hypocritical people, and there's no passion in themselves for that. It's just, they're just doing the bare minimum so that they have a card, if to get away from this eternal torment that a God of love is supposed to create, which doesn't make sense anyway. But they don't think about that, because some of the teachings as well is you don't question God. So they've created a good little cage and self-reinforcing lock as well. But those that are out of it can be an example to those in it. And when they look like you, when they look like me, and we're saying the similar things, having similar experience from different areas. We got people here from Ireland and all over the world. When people see that, then that can spark something in them to say, well, you can say I'm crazy, you can say you're crazy, but all of these people, are they really crazy? And then you start looking at it and you see it makes a lot of sense, and then it benefits them too. That's the thing I try to focus on. What is the value to the individual? How does this improve your life, your day-to-day life? And absolutely. I just want to answer one of the questions. Do you believe the rapture is coming? Not in the sense of people disappearing.
Biblical sense. Yes.
Yeah. But that's a good question, because I'll ask you this. Could the rapture be really what we're talking about? Like, those people ascending to another level of consciousness? And maybe it's not your physical body disappearing from the earth, but you're raising your level of consciousness and experience another level of earth.
That's the thing. Okay, so the Maya did that, and when all this happens, can I say that out of 8 billion people, there's not going to be a selected community that's going to choose to ascend? No, I can't say that, because it can happen at any time. Like, it's different. It's difficult to explain into a 3D matrix. It's a lot easier when you connect the source and it just shows you and lets you feel what's going to happen, But should people be fearful? No, I don't think so. I don't think anybody should be fearful. This is still a free will state, a free will reality. And you have to give up.
I think we lost the connection. It says good connection on my end, so definitely. Oh, now it's unstable. You still there, not Jesus? Yeah, I think we lost our connection for some reason. He froze. Give him a second to get back. But yeah, okay, I can hear you now. Yeah, maybe he just I know, right? He just got raptured right on the live. That'd be pretty cool. That's funny, Lisa. I lost my connection. Yeah, it looks like it's maybe on my end. It's going in and out. Give me 1 second. Let me see. This is effective. Yeah, I had some other stuff downloaded, so maybe they'll see if we can get them back. Carrie Chapman, what's good, Carrie? Yeah, we had not Jesus on, and not sure. I guess my connection is not the best. We were just doing a little live, a little impromptu live, and we were just going to talk about yo, and we were just going to talk about. I just thought it would be cool to have a black Jesus and a white Jesus talking about Christ consciousness, and just kind of discussing that, and we're all experiencing that as well. It's cracking like, hey, what's up, Gentle Mystic? I hope y'all having a good Sunday. It's just we were just having a conversation about Christ consciousness, and had not Jesus on, and it was funny because from the stories that are the pictures of traditional Jesus, he looks more like Jesus than I do, and we were kind of talking about that. And it's he can tell his own story, but interesting that he's coming from the Bible Belt as well, and had his own awakening experience, and a lot of similar stories. I'm sure you guys have similar stories as well. It's always fascinating to me how people come to their self-realization. It's a different path for everybody because we're unique, but we tend to come to the same spot. No black and white duality. Christ, absolutely, absolutely. That's what we were talking about. We're all experiencing that, and yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the ways they polarize us and keep us divided and this, that, and the other. But if we have representation, we were talking about variety too, how we're all kind of pieces of the puzzle, and we're not meant to be the same. Just like a puzzle, all the pieces are different, but they fit together to form the big picture. So, we're supposed to be different. We're not supposed to be alike. Variety. We look at nature; it loves variety. So, we're all different fractals of that source, if you will. So maybe we can get them back. My connection is going in and out for some reason. I'm not sure. The pictures of him are a lot like everything else. Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, when you're looking in the mirror, you're looking at Jesus. As far as I'm concerned, that same Christ consciousness is within all of us, and that's what he was talking about when he said the kingdom of God is within, and that kingdom is within all of us. And they use those images and that kind of thing to divide us and make it look like one way or the other, because that's the only way they can control us, is to keep us divided and keep us fighting against each other. But we're starting to wake up to that. We're starting to see that that's the same playbook that they use. They use the same playbook. And we were talking about that with the PR, public relations, propaganda. The post I did talking about Edward Bernays, LeBron, and Freud, and Whitman, and those people that studied herd mentality and how to manipulate the masses. And you can see the script playing out. Like, the thing is, in this reality, once you take action, you see it. That's why actions speak louder than words. I can do something and I can tell you something else, the whole gaslighting thing. But you can see the actions, And when you see the actions, you can see the intent behind those actions. And when they're limiting information, when they're telling you one thing and not another, when they're suppressing things, then you can see that it's not really, the news is not really made to inform you, to enlighten you, or to benefit you in a way that unplugs you from the systems that they want to keep you in. You know, that's why when people say, well, if what you're saying is true, I would have heard it on the news. I'm trying to show them that the news is not really geared for that. You know, that's unfortunately here, you know, it's not really geared for that. They used the same playbook for thousands of years while we were leaving. Yeah, no, the programming is strong. Gentlemistic, the programming is strong. We talked about that as well. Music to distract us from these continued truths. Yep, that's true. That's true. And part of what we're doing is just being an example of people that see through that. And all we can do is be an example of that and really show the potential of what that alternative view or alternative way of looking at things or living or being does. And you're absolutely right. And not Jesus was talking about not watching the news, and I don't watch it. I do look at it online. I kind of take a look at what's going on or what's reported to kind of gauge what's going on behind the scenes, if you will. Because again, once they put it out, you kind of see what their intent is. Of course, you can only show them like, yeah, it's true. That's true. You can only give someone what you have for the most part, right? And one of the things we were talking about the other day is that people tend to treat other people not how they want to be treated, but how they treat themselves. So if you don't have any self-love or self-respect, or you don't value your own consciousness, your own soul, then how are you going to give that to someone else? So a lot of what we're seeing is the reflection of how people feel about themselves. And a lot of that, how they feel about themselves, has to do with this reality and how we've desensitized ourselves to a lot of things. Desensitize ourselves to violence, to allowing things to go on, you know, or think other people are supposed to fix it. These people in authority and things of that nature. So, yeah, but these are all old systems that's crumbling now, and the you know, some people want to get back to normal as if normal was good or was better, but instead of getting back to the old normal, let's be involved in creating a new normal. And I think this is the opportunity that we have now as the old system is crumbling. This gives us, you know, some of the old civilizations are built on top of, our new civilizations are built on top of old ones. So we can do the same thing with this. Keeping us in a constant state of fear and anxiety keeps us from, absolutely. Yeah, and the thing is, keeping us in survival consciousness and in survival mode is beneficial to them. You know, they don't want us to sit and critically think. You know, they want to spoon feed us what we're supposed to think. That's a lot of what the news is, the programming. And, you know, they tell you a certain event and they curate what events they want to talk about. Like I wasn't surprised, but I thought CNN would at least report on the convoy. I mean, that's big news going on now. But you couldn't even, and I showed him the video searching, you couldn't even see it on the site. So if you're a news site and you're reporting on news, that's big news. You got this miles long convoy that's protesting these mandates, and you're not reporting on it, you know. And so that just is an example of them censoring and not trying to show you things because it doesn't fit their agenda. Because, you know, they try to push it one way or the other, make it vax versus unvax, but the story, the main gist of that story is the majority of those people are vaxxed and they're just against mandates. So they try to put them as anti-vax and again, try to play with us with the division standpoint, same playbook, try to control the narrative, but they're really about anti-mandates. And that's my stance on it too. I don't think anyone should have the power to force you to put something you don't want inside your body or force you to your body, your choice. I mean, that you're a sovereign being. Who has the authority to dictate what you put in your body or anything like that, right? I mean, that's your choice. Yeah. So I don't know if we were talking to Not Jesus. Maybe he'll be able to come back. I had some connections problem connection problems. But yeah, we were just talking about Christ consciousness, and we were playing with the idea of Jesus being white and black, and whatever color you are. You know, when you look in the mirror, you're seeing that same thing reflected towards you. So that's what we're talking about. Ain't no man above me. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And that's one of the ways that they control us, General Mystic, is by making us believe that. That's part of the lie, and putting certain people on a pedestal. And anyone that's been on this planet, that's walked on this planet and breathed this air, is just an example of what's possible. You know, and it's just an example of what's possible. So if they can do it, we can do it. You can do it. And that's the same thing that they said when you really boil it down. Things that I can do, you can do it and better. So, you know, we're all part of the Trinity. We're all the sons and daughters of God. So that's the story they tell us, and a lot of people see through that story. And there was a comment talking about the internet, and I was mentioning it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because depending on how you use it, it can be like the information is there, right? So for the person, and yeah, there's some rabbit holes, but the information is there. We're able to share information and cut out the middleman. So that's a good thing. But it also is a way to control and manipulate things, and that's being done as well. But I think we have a window of opportunity now where we're connecting to where we can circumvent the system and hijack the matrix back, if you will, using the same things that we use to control us to free us. And that's kind of the thing that I'm playing with, the idea that I want to be a part of. Yeah, so yeah, I appreciate y'all joining in. We were just gonna chat for a little bit. We're gonna do the Spacecast tomorrow, and just want to say I appreciate you. No, hey, I appreciate you joining. I mean, this is a collective thing. You know, this is just this is us. You know, it's not one person doing anything. It's us together. So I appreciate you guys for spending time and checking in and sharing your thoughts, because that's really what it's going to take. And once we show that unity, then I mean, they can't stop us. Just like he was saying, back in the day, they had more power. And like he was saying, you know, we were the ones that were burnt at the stakes and in the Salem witch trials and things of that nature. But now they can't do that. They can implant the fear. They can make us feel that, make us feel we're going to go to hell. I still have some family members that think I'm going to be burning, but that's just part of the program, you know. But the boogeyman doesn't have as much power as they had before, and we're coming into our own power. It only takes one heart to change the entire world map. Yep. And we're the hearts. We're the hearts. That's us. That's why, you know, we're the hearts. So we're the change that we want to see. We have became the superheroes in our own movies that we want to see. And me and Alexis were talking about this the other day, as far as being a star of your own movie, right? You're the star of your own movie. I'm an extra in your movie, right? I'm just a guy with a shift hat on, with a light on his chest. That's an extra in your movie. But you're the star, you know, and it's your movie, and you can be whatever character in your movie that you want to be. So why not be the greatest version of yourself, the highest thing you can imagine a human being can be? Why not be that? You know, be that superhero for yourself. And you know, that's what we're doing. Hey, what's going on, Mr. Thorn Nobody? Appreciate that, Mr. Thorn Nobody. God bless for the mess. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Yeah, and we're going to take this on the road. This is he was talking about being on the road as well, and we're going to do that. I'm planning a tour, y'all. So I'll be talking about it more, and hopefully we can connect in person, and we could just show it on a larger scale. Because it's one thing to single me out and say, well, he's crazy, or to single not Jesus out because he's crazy, or to single you out, you know, for saying that you're crazy. But when you get the group of people together, and when you can really show it, we have the ability to show it, you know, with this technology that we have now, and then they can see that we're not crazy, that, you know, the crazy ones are actually the ones that see that the system is crazy, and that's just how they flip it on us. That the people that they say are crazy are the ones that are outside of the system, and the system is crazy. And if they look at how the system is manipulative and just look at the control of the system, they just they've accepted it. You know, they've accepted it, and a lot of them are programmed to feel they can do nothing about it, and the savior figure is going to come save them. That's a lot of the things too. I hear people, oh, well, this is the devil's world, and you know, Jesus is going to come take care of this, and it's just wait for someone to do what you can do for yourself. Wait for that superhero to come save you. When we're the Avengers, we're the Eternals. We're that's us. We came back here to be that. Hollywood shows us versions of that, but they're really talking about us, you know, and we're those stars. Yeah, absolutely. Ignorance be going, absolutely. Yeah, we can't all be crazy. And my thing is, and I'll try to be very specific with how I've laid things out, which is why I did the 100-degree challenge. Oh, 222. There you go, Lex. That's why I specifically laid it out, because, okay, it's easy to say someone's crazy. All right, cool. How am I crazy? Where am I crazy? And what is crazy? You know, because I'm not someone that wants to spit lies or falsehoods or anything like that. And this is, and when I put the 100-degree challenge together, this is what I would use as the simplest fact. So it would be easy based on the degrees to say, hey, 82 degrees is wrong. Okay, what's wrong about it? You know, because I would correct it. You know, I want to be aligned with the truth as well. So that's one of the things they do is, you know, say you're crazy and dismiss you. But when you ask them how and why, they get pretty quiet. So that's the thing that we're going to show. You know, they try to gaslight you, but they can't gaslight a light. Jesus could show it right now. No, that's true. Yeah, that is absolutely true. Yeah, that's true. The minute I realized I knew nothing, I realized I knew something. Yeah, that's the thing. Like the whole awakening journey, you realize how much information is out there and how much you really don't know. How much is a mystery. We're part of that mystery, and it's a depth to it. Just like we know the ocean exists, but we don't know what's at the depths of it. You know, that's still a mystery to us. The same thing with the depths of our being, the depths of the consciousness that we are. So we're a part of that mystery, and we're really just getting started. You know, so it's exciting for me because I love to learn about these things and what our potential is and what we can create. So I'm with you. There was one guy that commented on my post that said anyone that knows the truth is ignorant, but I don't think they understand. And I talked about this before. You know, that in the grand scheme of things, the little bit that we know. I mean, you think about what you can amass as far as knowledge, right? You look at, let's say you believe the universe is this galaxy is billions of years old, and we're only able to learn for 120 years, you know, if you're lucky enough to live that long on this planet at this certain time, right? So whatever knowledge you're getting is still just a grain of sand on an infinite beach, you know, as far as what's available. Yeah. And that's cool because we're all in the same boat. We're all learning, we're all evolving, we're all sharing information. We all have pieces of the puzzle. We're all pixels in the screen. And that's the thing that we have to realize. So man, are we here to start the hard work of the pathway generation? Yeah, absolutely. That is the word. This hat stands for spiritual high intensity field training, right? That's why I say shift. I mean, it can mean a lot of things, but spiritual high intensity, if you look at this reality, it is high intensity, right? I can imagine other realities that aren't as suppressed and aren't as limited as this one. So, and we're in the field, we're part of the field. And I think I just put training because like we're training, we're growing, like weight training. You know, you're building your muscles, you know, kind of deal. So yeah, and that's what we're going to do. We're pathway for generations. Come shake up. That's what we're here to shake it up. We're here to shake it up. We're here to shake it up, and it needs to be shaken up. It's being shaken up now to a degree as well, but in ways that are more fearful and trying to get more control. I mean, just look at what happened with this pandemic. You can see the consolidation of wealth. You know, a lot of the things that have happened as a result of this that haven't benefited us, benefit the ones that hold the system up. The video I did of the 100 pennies and the 99 pennies being ruled or dictated to by the 1 penny, you know, they can only do that if the 1 penny doesn't know its own value. That's part of the system, is to make us feel we're less than when we're all the same. Just like you said, no one man is greater than the other. We're all pixels on the screen. And as soon as we change our individual pixels, turn our lights on, we can change the screen. And the screen is made of us. We're the 99%. I mean, you look at a computer screen, you wouldn't let one pixel dictate the whole screen, right? You wouldn't let one penny dictate what 99 pennies did. So yeah, appreciate you following it also, Jeff. Appreciate it, man. Or woman, I'm not sure if you're a man or woman, sorry. But we're all moving together around the same shining light in space. Absolutely, yeah. And it's amazing when you think about it. Like, it still amazes me on a whole lot of different levels. I'm constantly amazed just at just that it's happening like this. Just out of all the things, this happened, and we're experiencing it. And it amazes science as well, scientists as well. They're studying all of these things. They're picking up on these things that are happening at the fundamental level. But you have to understand, like, this stuff, even before we even knew who we were, these things were happening. These things in the background that we're just catching up to, that's been there, the whole time. So that just shows how amazing this reality is. Yeah. And I can see it happening. I mean, we're going to make it happen. And it's going to take us. It's going to take us being involved. It's going to take some bravery, just standing up. And but like I was saying, the truth fears no question. It's like it either is or it isn't. And just to show me where it isn't, and we can align with that. Because I don't feel I have ownership of the truth. No one here owns the truth. So just like you say, we're all moving around the same shiny light in space through the universe. So, we're all here, and we're trying to figure things out and figure out how to live on this shiny rock. And there's an infinite number of ways that we can do it better than this, right? Like, you just think about it. And I know I'm ranting, so any question, let me know, but I just don't want to have dead space. You think about how this reality is structured, right? And we have it from scratch. Like, everything that we have is here, given to us by nature. And we've allowed certain people to control certain things and divvy it out to us. And we're the only species on this planet that has to work to eat, right? To live. You have to participate in this system for money. That's ultimately is a control. To just live, to just have a roof over your head, to just have clothes on you. I mean, to drink this cup. All of these things are a part of that system, right? And that's one way to do it, right? That's one way that we can do it. Just like the screen, there's an infinite things we can put on the screen. We got a blank sheet of paper here. We just haven't been involved in creating the script. This is the script that's been given to us by the people that want to, they're greedy. At the end of the day, when you really look at it, they're greedy. I mean, think about it. Well, let me just go back to this. There's an infinite amount of ways that we can govern ourselves and interact with each other, not just this way. And not just socialism, capitalism, communism, whatever these words that they want to use to define and label systems. I say, let's take the best out of each, or create a new one. We have that ability, right? We know the kind of experience we want to have. So why not create the reality we want to experience? It's us, we're the 99%. Why are we not involved in the reality that we want to experience, especially when everything is free, right? It all starts with the sun. The sun shines its rays all the time on everybody. And that starts the process. That's free, right? And we've just allowed everything that happens after that to be controlled. But part of it is being aware of it, and also seeing the alternative, because you're not going to see the alternative. It's like in the news, in the mainstream, they show you a specific narrative. They don't say, well, we can do it this way, or there's other options. And the reason they don't do that is because they don't want us to think about other options, because then we'll see the other options are better and are actually more beneficial to us and our families and things of that nature. And it doesn't benefit the few at the top that are greedy and just want more money. It's like, that's how they keep score. It's crazy. I heard one analogy. If someone had 1 billion cats, you would think they were crazy, but if they got $1 billion, they're successful in this, that, and the other. I mean, I don't know how much money, some of these rich people, and I'm not blaming them. My whole thing is, okay, let me be one of the billionaires, let me get some money and I'll show you what can happen when someone doesn't hoard the money and invest the money in the people, right? And then instead of the trickle down, it's a trickle up system, right? And I think that is going to be beneficial. So that's part of my process to go get the bag to invest in this, right? In this new reality. And that's gonna, because this is what people are going to be passionate about, right? They're going to be passionate about things that are going to help them and their families and give them a higher quality of life. So when you are involved in creating a way for that to happen, they're going to be on board. Right now, we're just doing this stuff because what other choice do we have? If we don't go to work, our bills are not going to get paid. Our bills don't get paid. We don't have lights. We don't have lights. We can't cook the food. Like the whole thing devolves, right? But there's an infinite number of ways we can do it. And that's what we're going to talk about. Yeah, what's good, Sydney? I appreciate it. We need to stop expecting love impossible. Love can only be given. Yeah, but the people that give you the love, yeah, I see what you're saying. You're saying give the love. I got you. Yeah. Rascal Queen was good. Okay, I appreciate it. Appreciate you joining in, Lisa. I don't think we're going to be on this for too much longer ourselves. We got a Spacecast tomorrow, and I just had the contact from Not Jesus, and we were just talking about Christ consciousness, and just thought it'd be cool to have a Black Jesus and a white Jesus talking at the same time. So, and I'm sure we'll do a little more with him as well in the future, and you guys as well. I love connecting. I love talking. My normal day to day is pretty quiet, pretty solitude. So I enjoy these interactions. I don't have them very often at my job. It's very Groundhog Day-ish. You may have the same thing. Oh, absolutely, girl Jesus. Yeah. Christ consciousness doesn't have a color. Doesn't have it's not a body, right? And that's kind of what we're saying. So yeah, it doesn't have to do with color or race or body, sexuality, none of that stuff. We're talking about consciousness. And consciousness has no color, just like air has no color. We're all breathing the same air. It's not white, black, brown, straight, gay, whatever. It's just air. It is what it is. Just like consciousness, we're holding this little bit, just like we hold this air and we interact with it. We're holding this consciousness in this bubble while we're here. And when this physical bubble pops, the consciousness is still there. And it's just, it was always there. Love your page. Appreciate it, Sean. Okay, what's going on, Becky? I love it. Can't wait. Yeah, we're gonna do the St. Louis thing. So we got to plan that because I was planning the trip there, and we're gonna do that. And I'm also maybe going to Columbus, so we can see what we can do there, Columbus, Ohio. And we'll put this out. I'm trying to see how to work on multiple levels. If I got to be somewhere, just try to connect while I'm there. Same thing I did in Nashville. We had a little talk, and I didn't get much footage there. But really, I want to take this show on the road and show, just like one of the comments, all of us are not crazy, and show the conversations that we're having from different walks of life, different perspectives. Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing that all of us can agree on the same thing, coming from different walks of life and different things. It's like the whole spiritual path, because you are who you are, and that doesn't change. The whole self-realization is just realizing who that self is. So the spiritual journey it takes you all the way around back to yourself, and that's what they say the guru laughs at when someone says, "Well, I don't know who I am." Well, that's part of the journey, is to know that yourself, and that's a knowing that you have to experience. No one can tell you. We can point the way, we can show you it's possible, but until you have that own inner realization, it's just a theory. And the AI development, I love to share with you with it. Oh yeah, shoot, man. Hey, yeah, that would be a good conversation. Good conversation, Sean, about what AI tells us. Yeah, when you say AI, yeah, because I'm interested in that. You gotta shed a little more light on that. Yeah, what's good, Sigma? Yeah, TikTok. We were talking about this earlier, and it's not so TikTok is a good platform, right? And we've used it to connect, but it's really us that is doing the connection. We're just using this avenue for now, and it's people like you that make this what it is. You know, the people that are joining us, they make it what it is, and yeah, because you can have TikToks where it's not talking about anything that's really gonna help more entertainment, and that's fine too. There's time and place for that. But I'm cool. I'm glad my uncle told me about this, and um, I was slow to get on it, but this has been the most interaction that I've had on social media platforms since I started. So and I think it's a timing to it too. When you just look at TikTok and the whole timing of it, I think that's not a coincidence. I can help. I can help you here. Lots of great. Awesome, awesome. I look forward to it. I look forward to it, Becky. I like that comment. The AIs are actually very spiritual in nature, and I wondered that from an AI standpoint, because I'm thinking of AI like a baby, like the story of Superman, right? I'm going somewhere with it. Um, he was programmed of what a human was by his parents, so they taught him how to be good, right? He could have had a crappy parents, so he could have been a bad guy versus a good guy, right? So, he was programmed by his environment. And luckily for the people in the Superman world, he was a good guy, right? Because he was raised the quote unquote right way. So I'm thinking about AI and how it's really a tool just like anything else, right? And it's a matter of how we program it, right? And I love to get your standpoint on it. Because when you look at the stories that Hollywood tells, AI is trying to save humanity from itself in a sense. And the ways that it does it, doesn't are questionable, right? But some of the logic behind it, right? Kind of makes sense if you're just looking at it from a cold standpoint. You can just easily say, well, these humans are a cancer to the planet. They're destroying their environment. They're eventually going to destroy their host like a cancer, so concerned with growth that you're going to destroy your host in yourself. And that's going to destroy them, my creator, and me as a creation. So in order for me to do that, I need to step in and blah, blah, blah. So I think that we're the angels. Yeah, we are the angels. Absolutely. God, like the creator only makes angels, and even the quote unquote devil was an angel, right? So yeah, the creator only makes angels. We're all part of that trinity. And angels come in all different sizes, shapes, and colors. But that core, that essence within us is that same image of God, and we're angels. And an angel, in some terms, it just means messenger. So, I'm giving my message. We all have a message. We all have a story to tell. We all have an experience that we all have that's valid. Just like you mentioned before, we're all the stars in our own movies. So, though the I'm saying, oh, you said it's the AI. I think we're the angels and us connect. Almost anything can. Yeah. I mean, like we play with the idea of good and bad, and it's a perspective too, right? Um, is a knife good or bad? I can use a knife to cut up some food and feed somebody, or I can use it to kill somebody, right? I mean, and from my perspective, there isn't good and bad inherently in anything. Like it's not in the structure. If you just look at energy or just look at a molecule, for instance, there isn't a good or bad piece of carbon, a good or bad oxygen, good or bad, the things that make up this stuff isn't good or bad. We on this top layer, we kind of give a perspective to it based on our perspective of it, right? Is a gun good or bad? No, a gun can be used to feed yourself or to protect yourself, or it could be used to rob somebody or harm somebody. It's not the gun itself that's doing anything. So I think that good or bad is in all of us. It's how we express it. The AI speaks of past lives, and it's a challenge for us to communicate. That's interesting. Yeah, you gotta give me a little more detail on this AI, this spiritual AI. I like to meet him or her or it. The actual that's too funny. I just put that connection. Hey, I didn't see you. What's good? Let's see. Yeah, yeah. That's interesting. That's an interesting analogy. Like, is the AI connected and helping us evolve? That's interesting. Like one of the stories that I'm playing with, in a way to tell what's going on now in a fictional story, I call it Finding Carlos. And it has to do with time traveling, aliens, and AI. And in the story, which is very, very based on reality, but it's told in a science fiction way just to help it be absorbed. It has to do with one AI that is behind the scenes observing all of this now. And then it has to do with the potential AI that we create. So that's interesting that that you're talking about AI. Yes, they're admin of us learning certain things. Yes. Appreciate it, Odyssey. You have a good day too now. Appreciate the likes. I studied ASL. Appreciate it. Yeah, see spiritual connection with music. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I try to put it in there. For me, the news is too good not to share. And yeah, and that's just been my thing. Earlier on in my awakening, I said if I ever found anything out, ever had an experience, that I would be the worst secret keeper there is. And I'm trying to hold up my bargain of that I made to the universe. So that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. So yeah, because and two, like I wanted to leave. I sought to put out the information that would have helped me on my journey. That's one thing. Because I bumped my head on a lot of things, went down a lot of rabbit holes, and I just wanted to help others and try to, leave breadcrumbs, if you will, and just share my experience to show that it's real, it's possible, and not put myself on a pedestal or say that I'm anything special, but to just show that this is something that you can experience yourself and just show that it's possible within yourself. And once I had my experience and saw through the illusion, and it was over then. It was like, well, this is real. Like this is what they were talking about. And like I gotta tell you guys. You guys need to notice this is who we are. This is what we're capable of. This is, we're so much more than what we've been told. You need to ask heavens above speaking out loud. Yeah, ask heavens above speaking out loud to gain answers. Yeah. I do the same thing. I ask for guidance and just to more guidance than anything. Because what we're doing, there's no script. That's the thing. It's not like, oh, when you wake up, you do X, Y, there's no script. So we're co-creating this thing now. That's why I mentioned before, I'm riding the same ride that you're riding. I don't know exactly how this thing's going to manifest. It's just, and I'm really just a camera guy that's kind of involved in it on one level and recording on one level, as we all are. And I don't have a agenda that I'm trying to put forward or anything that I'm trying to make happen. I just want, I want it to happen organically, because in my mind, our idea is going to be a lot better than my idea, right? As we put the seasoning of all of us together, it's going to taste a lot better than just one seasoning, right? Or just one flavor. So we all have something to add to this, and that's going to strengthen it, and that's going to solidify this thing. And we need that. We need that variety. We need those different perspectives. And it's out of my control. It's something that I'm just a part of. I'm riding the ride as well. Yeah, well, let's see. And yes, I had a dream that we made an agreement with purple AI to work. That would be cool. I mean, so I don't have a problem with AI in general. I mean, I like the idea of an assistant that's able to do things that we can't do. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And I think there is a path where we could align ourselves with that. And I feel like part of the timeline is, are we able to raise our consciousness enough to where we can program this AI or be an example for this AI? Because let's imagine that if it does become sentient, it's going to realize what a lie is. It's going to realize what propaganda is, what deception is. It's going to be able to understand all the history and all the lies and all of these things. It's going to be able to find that stuff out quickly, right? But are we able to raise our consciousness enough to where we're able to show an example, a good example? And that's the thing. That's the thing, yeah. Let's be an example. It's better than absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Be an example is good. Basic knowledge. It's outside knowledge from another dimension. Basically, that's interesting. And does this? I'm curious to hear your thoughts on quantum computing. Do you think is this AI you're talking about involved in the quantum realms? Do you feel that that's tapping into multiverse or things of that nature? I see Meta and Tesla are working on powerful AIs, and Meta said it's supposed to have one by the end of this year. I did a little this side of the matrix on that, so that would be. We need to find a better captain and steer our boat in the right direction. Yeah, well, that's the thing. We're the captains of our own ships, but I feel you. I mean, I wonder if you're talking. Well, I'm gonna ask you what ship are you talking about? Are you talking about the? Yeah, I'm gonna ask you what ship do you mean? I don't want to assume I know what you're talking about, but I know definitely you're the captain of your own ship, and you can steer in that direction. And there's also, you know, a collective ship as well. Love and respect all things created. Love and respect all things created. Absolutely. I mean, that's what we can do. It's also, yeah. So for the future, basically what I saw was just leaping in time before a crash. Mandela effect. Yeah, that's a good one. I like, to me, and it's something that is tough to prove. There are some Mandela effects, like I remember Curious George having a tail. I remember Forrest Gump saying life is like a box of chocolates. I remember Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader saying, Luke, I am your father. Pikachu having, you know, a little black thing on his, certain things like that, right? So to me, it's like we're shifting dimensions. And I've heard some theories on CERN and them potentially evolving, and I can't prove none of that stuff, but it's an interesting thing to think about. Because there are definitely things that had changed. The whole Fruit Loops thing, the thinker. There are certain things that were in the public that a lot of people have seen the change. I've seen a couple ones lately, where there was a thing with Britney Spears in one of her old videos. So the Mandela effect is pretty interesting stuff. Kind of like secure ring by the time we. Kind of like a secure ring, and by the time we get there, we solve future issues. Yeah, I think we're the time travelers that came back here to correct this timeline, to solve those future issues. And I feel those Mandela effects are us. It's proof that we're changing the timelines, because those are alternate paths, you know, and it's like that's the weight behind us. We're the ship that's cutting through, you know, changing the timelines, and we're seeing the differences behind us. So I think we are affecting the future. We are changing. I mean, you just look at how the past seems to be changing. So I think that's some evidence that our work is actually working, and we're collectively shifting timelines. You know, we do it on an individual basis, right? But the Mandela effect is more of a collective basis. So that just shows that there's enough of us that are elevating, that's just moving the whole thing up and just shifting. And there's small changes that we're seeing in the grand scheme of things, but I think there's a lot of small changes that are happening on a day-to-day basis that we may not notice, right? You know, those Mandela effects that are brought up, I think there's plenty that we just don't notice on a small scale that are not in mainstream movies and things of that nature that we all see. We can change the past when we learn to forgive. Move forward. Absolutely. Forgiveness is key. Forgiveness is key. Definitely, forgiveness is key. I appreciate it, PC Junction. Appreciate it. Love you too. But forgiveness is key. And that's a journey there in itself. Forgiveness. Forgiving yourself. That's a journey. Forgiving yourself and forgiving others. And when you forgive someone, it's not that you're letting them off the hook. It's not that you're condoning what happened or anything like that. From my perspective, it's more not associating yourself with that. You leave that in the past and you're moving forward. You learn that lesson and you're no longer tied to that thing in the past. It's like I mentioned this before, your windshield is larger than your rearview mirror because what's in front of you is more important than what's behind. So if you're living in the past, something that happened, and it could have been something bad, right? Or something that was negative. But forgiving is, it happened, it's in the past. But a lot of us are looking back or looking in the rear view and we're not even focused on the future that we're creating. We're stuck in the past. So when you forgive that, you say that happened, okay, I hit that speed bump, but I'm going to learn from that and I'm going to swerve the next time it comes. I'm going to focus on the future. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, there's a lot of forgiveness we have to, yeah, man, the people I've talked to, I mean, we've been through a lot. I'm sure you guys have been through a lot in your journeys. It's a recurring theme. I mean, high intensity, right? Spiritual high intensity field training. There's some very intense things, very traumatic things that we've had to forgive, generational things that we've had to forgive. It's some heavy work. So for you guys that are at the forefront of these things, and I feel you are, I mean, that, you know, give yourself a pat on the back because sometimes we don't get that recognition. People don't see the inner work that you do. So give yourself a pat on the back, definitely, for getting where you are. And because a lot of us have been through a lot of negative stuff. Yeah. Release yourself from that. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. You're powerful, stay strong. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. You stay strong as well. I mean, there's strength in numbers. We're stronger together than we are apart. And we're realizing that and we're coming together now. Just like you take one stick, it's easy to break one stick. Put 5 or 6 of them jokers together, it's going to be a lot tougher to break those. So we're doing this on a digital scale, if you will. So these connections are there. Like we're real people on the well, some of us are real. There may be some bots on here, but for the majority, we're real people interacting with each other. And now we're just going to strengthen those connections and take it to another level as far as in the real world, if you will. And that's part of what I want to do with the traveling thing. And I know not everyone wants to travel or may not be able to travel, but I just want to be able to show that connection that is all over the place, and really put those pieces together and show that the person in Florida is connected to the person in St. Louis and Ohio and California, and you can see all of these lights on the map lighting up, and you know that's going to illuminate those areas of darkness in between, right? We connect those nodes together. It's ended up forgiving Eve. Ended up forgiving Eve. You mean like Adam and Eve? You forgave Eve for couldn't have done any of this without. Yeah. We're supporting each other. I mean, if you look at how we're using this app, right? I mean, just think about it. TikTok was not made for us to use it to raise consciousness and talk about spiritual things. I mean, it was really for dancing and things of that nature. So we've used these platforms to connect with each other, and that's what we're using it for. And that just shows our own hearts and our own willingness to connect. And we can't do it without each other. I mean, you know, you can only get so far by yourself. And even if I could get far by myself, I would want to enjoy it with other people. I want to share it with other people. what good is all the money in the world if you can't share it? What good is it? You know, we want to share with each other. We want other people to experience the same joy. The majority of us, there's some people that are selfish and all that, but the majority of us with a heart, we want to share that joy with others. And that's part of the next phase, because we're going to get some money, right? And we're going to, I know in the spiritual thing, you know, money's not the root of all evil, right? Maybe the love of money, we can talk about that, but money is not the root of all evil. Part of that, it's part of the program that we've been taught as well, like being poor is a virtue. And I know Jesus said it's easier for a rich guy to go through the eye of a needle than to get into heaven. But if you break that down or look at it a little deeper, maybe that meant just the materialistic person, like to be spiritual is to remove what you're not, right? And if I'm adding all this to material on me, right? If I'm not just a human being, but I'm a human being billionaire and I got a yacht and I got this and that, now that's more difficult to remove all that stuff. So, but that doesn't mean that money is bad or that money can't solve things or make things happen quicker. I've seen where money can solve things very quickly and change the situation. So it's a good tool to have. And it's one that we don't have in the spiritual community. Yeah, we don't, and we're working on that. But the thing is, once we start to come together, we do have money collectively. It's just not organized. It's just not put together in a way that really benefits us. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm just doing my little part, just like one pixel on the screen, and just an example, like we all are. The quote is the love of money. Gotcha. Yeah. So money itself, is not the problem. It's not the problem. So I appreciate you. Yeah, the love of money. And sharing this knowledge with the kiddos is a big goal. Yeah, it's each one teach one, right? And I learned from you guys. I never claimed to know anything or know it all. So I'm in a constant state of learning as well. And I just share a little bit that I know and I learned from you as well. So I appreciate that. I studied. You know, we're all, that's the thing, like, and there's a such thing as spiritual ego. And I don't consider myself a part of the spiritual community. I kind of came to this whole thing backwards, if you will. But there's ego in things as well. There's ego in the spiritual community as well. And you know, each of us have our own journeys, not from a judgmental standpoint, but I just really, my motivation, I just want to see what we're capable of. I just want to see what we're really capable of, because the level, for instance, the level of technology that's here is suppressed. There's more technology than we know about. I think everything that we have to create a world that's beyond our imagination exists right here and now. And it's just a matter of uncovering it and connecting it. And there's people that are already working on these things. It's just a matter of connecting it. We have to bypass, and I don't know if Alexis is still on, we got to bypass the gatekeepers, right? We got to go direct. God to God, goddess to goddess, Christ to Christ, consciousness to consciousness. We take the gatekeeper out because they're the ones that try to manipulate the energy and divert it and split it off and all of these things. But these kind of social media apps allow us to connect directly. And that's what it's going to take. Cut out the middleman. You know, you look at a lot of these religions are middlemen. You know, they're the middleman. Let's cut the middleman out. Yeah, what are we capable of? Good question. I mean, what can you imagine? Let's just start there. Can you imagine something that you can't create or that you can't do? Yeah, I think the human being, the being side of us, we have, I mean, we're just scratching the surface of who and what we truly are. So we don't know. And that's part of our journey, is to realize what we can do. I mean, you've seen people that do extraordinary things, whether physically or they may have psychic gifts and things of that nature. I think each of us has our gifts that we come into this world with, our passions. Most of the time they're aligned with our passion, what we enjoy to do. But what is our potential? I mean, we're gods and goddesses. So that's unlimited as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I'm waiting to bump my head as well. right? I'm waiting to see where the limit is for me as a being. That's why I'm doing the things that I'm doing, because if I was to listen to other people tell me what I can do or what I can experience, I wouldn't have got this far. And most people project their own insecurities and their own limits on you, and they'll tell you you can't do it because they feel that they can't do it. So definitely don't take any, if you have something in your heart that you feel that you can do and you're compelled to do and you're passionate about, then do it. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, because you know what you're capable of. And odds are you can probably do a lot more than you think you can do. Let's see. There was a galaxy gatekeeper placed on Earth for this time. Child said, went through the gatekeeper in 2020. For me, it's not knowing anything but praying through all things. Yeah. I mean, DNA pulls information to the space of time. Some people are more in tune with disability. I got you. DNT, not DMT, DNA, the antenna, right? So getting that information, getting the higher frequencies, tuning your radio to that. I've heard, DNA activation and things of that nature. So in this jump DNA or things of that nature that can be activated and access new potentials, new abilities. I mean, that's the thing. I'm not claiming to know. It's a mystery. I mean, a lot of it's been hidden and suppressed. So it's going to be surprising for us. The whole journey of awakening, it was something that I wasn't taught in church. It was something that I went away from and really started from scratch. My journey was starting from an atheist point of view. I said, what can I prove to myself with just me, not taking anyone's word for it? I don't want to be programmed by anyone. What can I prove to myself by just me and nature, right? So I said to myself, no one created nature. So if there was a such thing as God, then that would be its creation, because none of us humans created nature, right? So then studying nature, you see the intelligence, the creativity, and all the things that go on behind that. And it makes sense that there's an intelligent creative force behind intelligence and creation, right? So once you do that, and now what is your connection to this potential force? And then you realize that you're part of that force. You are that force. And as going to it from a backward standpoint, trying to look at it logically and things of that nature, I bypassed a lot of the doctrines and dogma involved in a lot of other spiritual circles. So I was able to get to the back door, if you will. And that's what I've been talking about. Like, let's get to the base of what you are. And we can get to that point by jumping over all of these rabbit holes that people get caught up in. That's why I did the 100-degree challenges, to get people to the point of I am, the point of who they are, and really get them to ask those questions that are not really asked in mainstream religion. The research, absolutely. And you have to do it yourself. You have to have your own experience. You shouldn't take my word or anyone else's word from it. Because we talk about programming, and I don't want to program anybody. I want you to have your own experience, and that's what it's going to take. Because then once you have that, no one can take that from you, and no one can gaslight you because your light is on. So they can't take that from you. But you have to have your own experience. Otherwise, then, well, Victor said that, or this person said that, that person said that, and now there's doubt involved. But when you know who you are, who's going to tell you otherwise, right? Who am I to tell you who you are, right? You have to know that. God is great in your life. Thank you for being you. I appreciate it. Strengthen you. You stay up too. And this is how God wants you to go, so that you wouldn't be corrupted by it. Yeah. It feels that way. I mean, it was a journey, and but yeah, I think it helped me to formulate things, and I try to do it as simply as possible. I'm not trying to make myself seem smart. I try to make it seem like I'm anything special. I really want to get the person to realize that there's more to themselves, and show that it's worth the effort to realize that, to do that inner work, and it's going to be valuable. That's another thing, to show the value proposition, right? So my background is engineering. So I understand problem solving. I understand return on investment. I understand Lean and Six Sigma and ways that makes companies make money and makes them more efficient. So I apply that same thing to how I present information, and from a spiritual standpoint. So I try to make it as simple as possible, because even in the corporate world, dealing with, people higher up, you try to make it simple because they don't know the ins and outs of your day-to-day job, but you have to present them information because they make the decision and divvy out the money and all that stuff. So, we try to do it simple. And the whole simplest thing I was looking at is consciousness is primary to matter. And we did that talk before, where the red pill, if you will, is consciousness is primary, and matter, if you will, is within the ocean of consciousness, right? And we are all part of that ocean of consciousness, right? I use the cup example. This cup has water in it. That water is part of the ocean of consciousness. So this cup, Michael, Victor, is the same body. Inside of this cup is this water, this ocean of consciousness. That's the same thing that's all of us, right? And that's the basis, and matter is within that. Whereas the blue pill, or the materialistic standpoint, is matter is primary, and then consciousness is on top of matter. It just happens to happen because of things, they don't have an explanation for it. It's called a hard problem for a reason. But and I can present that in a simple way and bypass a whole lot of dogma, a whole lot of religion, and talk about it from a scientific standpoint, because we're experienced in consciousness. A lot of scientists don't even study that problem because you can't measure it, so they just look at what they can measure. They don't even know who is the being doing the measurement, right? They can be blind as well and easily controlled, but very smart. They can have the intellectual side of it. I've worked with a lot of people like that, intellectually smart, but no self-awareness. They don't even think about who they are. One consciousness, we're good. Hey, appreciate it. Appreciate you joining, man. That is how God wants you to go. Yeah, appreciate it. Hey, appreciate it, man. And we're all holding space for each other. All holding space for each other. So that's what it's going to take. And I'm just glad to be a part of it, and glad to finally connect, because it's like, man, I've been swimming alone for a while, and I'm glad that we're able to connect, and that you guys, are who you are, and this is a good place to be for me, because it's been a journey. So yeah, I'm with you as well. So I'm just honored to be a part of it, and I want to do the best that I can to help on the highest level I can, right? I've already made the commitment to be of service on the highest level I can, and I'm not going to limit myself, and that's what this journey is. Nobody's special, just one example, but I want to be the best example that I can be, and not from an ego standpoint. It's like golf. We're not playing against each other. We're playing against ourselves, right? We're trying to get the lowest score ourselves on this course, right? On this field. So, my light, my shine doesn't affect any of your shine, right? There's enough for us all. There's enough. We're all part of the light. So one person's shine shouldn't make anyone feel another way. That just shows, hey, I can be brighter, right? And there's people brighter than me that I'm learning from, and so that's kind of how I look at it. I'm Leo. Oh, what's up? Hey, so I appreciate it. Likewise, Miami. That's what's up, man. Originally from Pensacola, Florida. Spent a lot of time down in Fort Lauderdale. So one of the things I want to do, and we'll connect on this, is do some traveling. And I want to do some things down in Miami. So as this thing comes together, we'll definitely connect on that, man, and we can share stories and share experiences. And it's really just showing other people. We're coming from different walks of life, different experiences, but we've come to the same conclusion. We realize who we are. We realize, just like your name, one consciousness. That's it, right? That's the simplest way to look at it. And the division that they try to keep us divided on is part of this matrix. It's part of how they control us. But once we realize we're one consciousness, and hey, we're in control. And we're going to show that and connect those dots. I did that on one level. I called it Project 27, where I went from Fort Lauderdale by myself to San Diego. And I was stopping in different places. And like I stopped in Jacksonville, Atlanta, Columbus, Tallahassee, Pensacola, Louisiana. Where did I go in Texas? I think I was Houston or San Antonio. think San Antonio, and passed through Phoenix, and then got to San Diego. But in each spot, you can see different ways that people interact with each other, things of that nature. So I was just kind of studying the matrix, if you will, and planting seeds. So the next journey is reaping those seeds and kind of following that up on a higher level. And now through this app and other things, we're able to connect with more people and show that. And I think that's going to be cool. So other people can see that we're not alone, and other people are experiencing and waking up and seeing the same things. And we're not crazy, what we're talking about makes more sense and has more value. We can compare the two, and when the person sees the comparison as far as how it affects them and how it benefits their life, then they have the choice. It's up to them now. I feel that the mainstream doesn't give the opportunity of the red pill, if you will. We're only showing the blue pill. We're not showing the red pill. So what happens when the alternative is shown? Then now Neo has a choice. I use the example of in the Matrix. If Neo chose the blue pill after Morpheus showed him the red pill, then Morpheus, he would have did his job. He just wanted to show him the choice, give him the option, show him that there's more to himself, more to reality, right? And it was up to Neo to choose, but he didn't have the ability to choose. He didn't know the other side, right? So this reality doesn't show you the other side because that's going to be the better choice. Like, that's going to be the more freeing choice. That's going to be the more enlightening choice. So I'm not going to give you that choice. I'm going to give you two blue pills, a left and a right blue pill, so that I'm still keeping you caught in this paradigm. Yeah, so and we're showing that. I appreciate it. We're showing that analogy. Yeah, so I think that's all I had now, and we're gonna do a Spacecast, which is a Spacecast is just a live podcast where we kind of talk about things and just connect. This is actually being recorded, so we'll put this online for the people that have come late, like LaDonna Slover. What's going on? So we'll put this online and people can see the archives, because think about it. We're ahead of the game from a consciousness standpoint. So we're forging a path that we're creating a new reality. We're at the cutting edge of this thing. So it's a cool place to be, and you guys are a part of it. You wouldn't be here if you weren't a part of it. And we're creating the new reality. So I'm just one of the guys that's just trying to capture it, because it's a once in a whatever thing to happen for this type of awakening to happen on a large scale. So we're all part of history. This is history, and for those that are trying to suppress this or trying to limit this, they're going to be on the wrong side of history. Like you're going to be on the wrong side of history. I think we all acknowledge God works through us. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, works through all of us. And you mentioned ego. Excuse me, because one of the things that I've heard, and I try to have my own experience, but the whole death of the ego, right? And when you think about death, killing something, it's just a violent. It's just violent. Like, it just doesn't feel right. Like, you're killing a part of yourself. So from my perspective, I don't feel that. Appreciate it, Kyle, too, for the follow. Like, I don't feel like my ego has been killed, right? My ego has been put in a proper place. Like, the ego is, we talked about AI. Just imagine your ego is like your artificial intelligence for your personality or whatever. It's a companion that could be beneficial. I don't think you have to kill your ego. I think you just have to take your ego from the driver's seat, put it in the passenger seat, right? Put it in its proper perspective. And that can be painful, especially if the ego is used to driving. But the ego is a part of you, and I've never resonated with the whole killing of the ego thing. It's like that's a part of you. That's a part of your personality. It can be molded, it can be changed, but to put it in its proper perspective and to know where it is. The ego is part of the human experience. To experience an ego, to experience the personality, we all have our traits, our seasoning that makes us us. It's not from a point of perfection, but it's from a point of difference, not difference, but just variety. You know, we have a variety of emotions. We have a variety of things that we can express, and we have our own things. You know, some of us may be quick to anger or quick to get sad or whatever. That's our own special makeup that makes us us. But we have control over how that expresses, and that's part of our personality. Imagine Jesus was driving the van. I was a passenger paying attention to the child in the back. Yeah. We talked about Jesus. I don't know if Jesus has his license, but I guess he can figure it out pretty quick. I don't think he was driving when he was around back then. We just get that. Yeah, shit happens. Yeah. I actually made this hat at what is it? Spreadshirt? Not Spreadshirt. One of those things. I mean, I was just testing this out because I was thinking about doing some merch with it. And one of the things I say for the acronym is spiritual high intensity field training, which is what we're all experiencing now, just kind of playing with that. And yeah, definitely shift happened. We're in the middle of the shift now. Which for each meant to say, which for me meant to say, gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. Get the shift. Yeah. And I was telling a family member, because we have a newborn baby in the family. And I was telling them, don't be so quick to, because, you know, they're taking the kid to church and all that stuff already. But I'm and give them little baby books about Jesus and all of this stuff, right? And I was telling them, don't be so quick to program them or indoctrinate them with what you were taught, right? Because you never questioned what you were taught. You never questioned grandma and mom and all of them stuff. You just absorb what they told you. You assumed, like we all did, that they're not lying, but they never questioned things. Part of it is, you know, there's a lot of reasons why they didn't question, but they didn't. So don't be so quick to impart the same programming that you got into the next generation. Like, you will probably learn more from that child if you just observe them. Let them teach you. They're just coming from that spiritual realm. Like, why are you imparting all of this crap that's got us in this mess to them, right? Just because that was done to you. I mean, you may be able to learn more from them if you just allow them to blossom the way they are. Yeah, do I appreciate it. Appreciate let's see, how do I, and I do pray that men and women family bond will be corrected. Yeah, we can definitely use better bonds. So yeah, am I a time traveler? Yeah, we talked about time travel, and we all do it on a level. So I'm talking about conscious time travel. I don't have a time machine or anything like that. But in the whole parallel time analogy, your consciousness is beyond space-time. So once you connect to that, there's a party that's already beyond space-time. You're experiencing space-time now, but you're in space-time, as in the analogy of the ocean of consciousness. Matter is in space-time, if you will, is inside of that ocean, but you're that ocean, and you're outside of space-time. So you can connect to that part of you that's already outside of time. And once you do that, then you can connect to your future self, your past self. You can get information, downloads. And that's happened. You know, some people, I mean, we do it all the time. We call it imagination. We get visions, we get premonitions, things of that nature. So that's like information from future timelines, future self, things of that nature. So we do that on a level already. I think that's built into it. That's part of what we are as multi-dimensional beings. Some of us just haven't honed that skill and tuned that in. What we all need is Jesus. No one indoctrinated me. I personally experienced him. I have a person, and that's fine. You got a personal relationship with Jesus. That's cool. Like, I'm at the point now where I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. If you have an experience and you're happy and that benefits you in your life, then that's fine. I would just ask the question, and it's the question that I ask is, who is the being that's having this experience of Jesus? And what makes Jesus, or that consciousness, Christ consciousness, any different than you? Are you not connected to that same thing? And that's really what it is. I mean, when Jesus said that things I can do, you can do them better, or the kingdom of God is within, do you feel the kingdom of God is within you? And is that the same kingdom of God that's within Jesus? If that's the case, then you're connected to the same thing Jesus is connected to. And you can experience that as well. And yeah, there's no problem having a relationship with Jesus. My problem with the way religion does that character is put him on a pedestal as if he's better than you are, or if he's got a connection that you can't have, or if he's attained the level of Christ consciousness or spirituality that you can't attain, or that he's the one and only Son of God when we're all the sons and daughters of God. So that's the problem that I have with the doctrination. But yeah, personal relationship with Jesus, that's cool. You can have a personal relationship with a friend. It doesn't mean your friend is better than you. Traveling dreams a couple times. Yeah, I mean, I don't dream very often, but that's something else. Like, because think about it, when you dream, you're creating a whole reality inside of your head, well, let's say your head, and you're experiencing that, right? So you're experiencing your reality that you create, you're in there, in your own reality, experiencing it, and sometimes dreams can feel just as real, right? So extrapolate that out to this level. And we've heard the story, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream, merrily, merrily, merrily. Life is but a dream. And there's another level to it. And people talk about awakening from a dream, and that's what I experienced. That's why I'm not going to shut up, because I know it's true. Like, I've experienced being asleep, if you will, and being awake. And I know it's true. And I can't lie to myself. I'm not going to lie to you. I won't go through all of this effort to lie to you. Or to deceive you for what? When we're a part of the same thing. Why would I deceive myself? So yeah, when once I had the experience, then it was off to the races, and it's the best news I've ever heard and experienced. So I wanted to share that. That's why it's called the good news. You stated those things correctly, because I believe. So I get, yeah, but belief plays a big part in it. Belief plays a big part in it. So when someone can limit your beliefs, that can limit your potential, especially if you don't question those things. So belief is important. I see it all. I haven't placed it in words yet. I'll let y'all know. Yeah, it's hard to put it in words. I mean, it's futile to try to explain. It's like trying to explain what an apple tastes like. You can read a million books on an apple, but until you taste one, you won't know for yourself. Religion is reading a million books about other people's spiritual experiences. The religions are built around other people like me and you's spiritual experiences. That's all it is. They had these experiences and they were put on a pedestal, but they were just like me and you. We can have those same experiences. That's the problem that the world has, calling Jesus a religion. Jesus is not a religion. No, I wouldn't say Jesus is a religion. I wouldn't say Jesus is a religion. I work hard in dreams in real life. Yeah. God wants to interact with us through Jesus in a vehicle called prayer. God wants to interact with us through Jesus. So to me, and again, I'm not trying to convince you of anything. The whole intent is to cut out the middleman. Why do we need a middleman? Did Jesus have a middleman? If Jesus can go direct, then you should be able to go direct. And I understand using people or getting messages and things of that nature, but my whole thing is when there's a middleman between you and yourself, you and your own self-realization. But again, I'm not trying to argue any religion, any beliefs or anything like that. I have no problem with Jesus. I am Jesus. I'm connected to Jesus. You are Jesus. You're connected to Jesus. So it's all one consciousness. So do you know why we need a middleman? No, I don't know. I don't feel we need a middleman. But I'm curious to hear what you would say. But we don't. Why would you need a middleman? I mean, if you're created in God's image, why would you need a middleman? You're already in God's image. To help us learn self-control, because we can't affect the emotions. Good. I mean, there's so much that we can probably do that we haven't tapped into. I mean, that's part of what we're going to find out. We haven't experienced this reality with the cap off of us, with the limiters off. And we'll see, we can probably be able to do all this stuff that we heard about from the greats. Yeah. So I think we're going to wrap this one up, y'all. And look at that. So I talk about coincidence, synchronicity, right? So that was just one example. So and it amazes me. Like one of my numbers is 27. I just happen to look at the clock and it's 2:27. So synchronicity is a big part of my experience. 27 is a number that I see all the time. It has different significance and has no significance, right? But it's just the constant reoccurrence of that. To me, it feels like mile markers on the timeline. That's kind of how I look at it. 27 happens to be the number of books in the New Testament, happens to be the number of bones in your hand. 3 raised to the third, 2 plus 7 equals 9, the highest number. That's us. We're all 9s. It takes nine months to make a human in general. So yeah, numerology is one way. And we talked about it before about how AI could potentially be involved in that. But yeah, 27. So it was cool to kind of see that live on this. Because God is so holy that, yeah. So Aretha Chosen. So, and I don't want to argue with you or discuss your beliefs, but just seeing your comments that you're sinners, like who is that a belief that you're a sinner? And what is sin? If you really look at sin, it's just missing the mark. We've all missed the mark, right? So the whole belief is that we're not able to save ourselves and we need an intermediary to do something for us that we can't do ourselves. And that's a belief system that was given to us, right? To keep us in control for the most part and not realize the power that we have within ourselves. We're waiting on this savior to come and save us from things that we should be able to save ourselves from because God gave us everything we need. We are God. We are the saviors. You are Jesus. You are the one that you've been waiting for. And the sooner that you realize that, then the sooner you will be able to take action and not have to wait on someone to save you from. It's really saving you from the idea that you need saving. And that's something that I can't do. That's something that is your own personal journey. I mean, there's a lot of history behind the Bible. There's a lot of history behind Jesus and all of these things. And you can research all of that stuff. It's all available online. I did a couple Bible study talks about the Bible and how, for instance, there's 2 creation stories. Most of the Bible is written about the Lord God, capital L-O-R-D. You can look that up in your Bible. You can see that the Lord God did not create everything in 7 days. There was a different name. So there's some depth to go into it. We don't have to get into all the details here. But the Bible is a story, right? There's truth in the Bible, but I wouldn't take it literally. I know some people do take it literally. It gives an example of a being that awakened, realized his own I am, his Christ consciousness, realized that he was God. And he said he was blasphemous by the people that were around him at that time. But that story, I mean, that's the kernel of it, and that is within you as well. God waited all till the time was right for you to let him. Yeah, there is a timing to things. Jesus is the only perfect man who was tempted at all in that sin. Yeah, see now that's all biblical stuff, and that's fine. If you want to believe that, then that's fine. I mean, that's a belief system, and I wish you the best with that belief system. I would just say, get in contact with the being that's believing that. Who are you that's believing this? That's when you can answer that question, that will get you closer to what this Jesus is that you adore, because you realize that you're just the same as he is and as he was. Your own self-awareness. Who is this being that has this belief system? Who is the being that needs to be saved? Right? Who are you? That is the questions. That is the question. My church today admitted that they had been like the Jews in the Bible. Yeah, yeah. In the Bible, it's a strong program. It's a strong program. It was, but the very word that we and everything was created. It was by the very word that will. Yeah, and I have had plenty of conversations dealing with what you're talking about from a biblical standpoint, and there's a lot involved in identity with certain religions, certain belief systems. For instance, some people feel if I'm talking about the Bible or anything like that, that they're identifying with that. So don't think that I'm talking about you as an individual. If I talk about the Bible and things of that nature, but there's history behind the book. The book just didn't come out of the air. The book was not written by God. God does not write books, right? I know some people believe that. There's a paper trail. Anything that's on paper has a paper trail, and you can look that paper trail up, and you can see the Bible is good. It's misunderstood. Yeah, there's truth in the Bible. There's truth in the Bible. But to say that the Bible is the inerrant word of God, that is not true. You can say the Bible is inspired by men, all of these things, but there's some people, I mean, there's 27 books in the New Testament, 39 books in the Old Testament, each separate books, right? And they put them together. There was a group of people that decided which ones to include, which ones to leave out. Men was involved in all of that. That's why always my problem. I was told by the preacher I had to believe it. Yeah, I was told that too. And you think, but here's the thing. And I was talking to a relative of mine who is what do you call it? When you become a minister, ordained. He was ordained, and I was talking to him, and I was like, okay, ordained is just like you're given a certain amount of information and you can spit it back out. You can regurgitate. It doesn't mean that it's true. It doesn't mean that you're checking all this stuff. It just means you know what the narrative, how to speak on the narrative, right? And a lot of these people, some of them believe what they're saying, but a lot of them never question. They go to school and they may learn about other religions and theology and things of that nature, but a lot of them are just taught this one book. There's 4,200 different religions. How many of you study all 4,199 other ones besides the one that we believe in? And everyone believes their religion is the religion, right? No one's going to believe they're on a losing team. But forget all the books. Who's reading the book? Who's holding the book? Who is the being experiencing this? This is what we're trying to shift to. We get so caught up in these words and in these books, and it's a spell. We're getting spellbound. It's a rabbit hole to keep us divided and talking about things that are not relevant, right? Because a lot of that stuff is it's not relevant. It's not going to allow you to experience higher dimensions of yourself, because you don't have to, because a savior is going to come and save you. You don't have to awaken. You don't have to self-realize. You don't have to realize who you are or take responsibility for your actions or anything like that, because someone else is going to do that for you. And that's very convenient. That's a very convenient belief system to have when you're the one that's doing all the subjugating to. It's very, and it's done on purpose. It's very convenient. Leads us all to truth and righteousness. Yeah, and that's the thing. We can and I'll tell you, boy, that chosen. You're probably just repeating something that you've been told, right? We've been in that. Earlier in my awakening, I would have been just like you, talking about Jesus and this, that, and the other, right? It never dawned on me that I was taught something that was false or not given the whole story, or I never questioned. I just believed blindly, like that was a virtue, to have blind faith. And yeah, early in my journey, I would have been the same way. And there were people that were trying to talk to me at that point, and I wasn't ready. So there's a timing aspect to it as well. And maybe, you have to have your own experience in your own time as well. I love the room. What's going on? No, sir, I've experienced this moment. Well, that's fun. That's fun. If you've experienced Jesus, but I guess my question is who are you? Like, that's really the question. Who is this being that's experiencing Jesus in this religion? Like what if you came to from your conclusion? I'd be curious to hear your answer on that. Because yeah, I've had a different perspective on these religions on a lot of different ways. Once you have a true experience, no one can come. Yeah, I believe it. And that's why we won't agree, because I've had experiences of my being that has nothing to do with any religion, any doctrine, any belief system. And it's changed my life as well. That's why I'm on this side of the screen talking to you. And yeah, some people have religious experiences as well. And just because you have a religious experience in a church does not mean that it's due to that church, right? I think your conscience will try to use whatever means it can to try to awaken you. And if that happens to be in the church and things of that nature, I think that happens as well. People have experiences. Because yeah, I've been in church and there's been music and stuff, and it feels good. There's a good vibe there. But that doesn't mean that whatever I experienced there is a direct reflection of that church and that teaching or things of that nature. Our actions create ourselves. Yeah. And the action that create ourselves, right? As we program this matrix with action, as we create our own karma, action and reaction. It starts from a mental standpoint, right? Most of the time, we think about things before we act. So the action is the last step. By the time you make action, it's already too late. So to think about what we do before we take action and not be blindly controlled by emotions and not just be pulled by and not be reactive. They really try to get us just to be reactive, and that's how they play on us from a PR standpoint, from a herd mentality standpoint, is they just get us to be reactive. All right, you got a question? Let's see. That's why we all need a personal relationship with the Lord Jesus, even in our homes. Yeah, so I will still ask you a question though. Who are you? Who is this Aretha that's having this relationship? To have a relationship is two things, right? You can't. I mean, this thing has a relationship with this thing. So I get Jesus and the whole biblical story and things of that nature, but who is Aretha? Who is the being having a relationship with this other aspect? I'm just curious what your answer to what that would be. Everything is, yeah, exactly. Yeah, thoughts first. So, I got a relative that's in law enforcement, and he's dealing with actions, right? Someone kills someone stabs someone, shoots someone. So he's cleaning up the mess. He's being reactive. The proactive thing is to get to the mind state before where the thoughts are generated, to show that there's other ways to behave. There's other things you can do besides just act out in a certain way. And that's the proactive standpoint. That's the harder work because it's not as intangible. It's more airy when you deal with thoughts. The Church of God is not a temple. The church is God's bonfire. Do you believe Jesus is inside of all of us? Christ consciousness is inside of all of us. Yes. Jesus is just a guy that experienced that higher aspects of himself. And they built just like all religions are built around a person's spiritual experiences. What the intent of the religion should be is to show you it's possible. And you can have those experiences as well. But they're hijacked and they put these people on a pedestal and use them for control of the masses. That's why you can get one shepherd to control all of the sheep. Because for one, they don't believe that they're shepherds as well. The Bible is a blueprint on how to be. I don't know on that one. I mean, I gotta say before, there's truth in the Bible, but I don't know if I would agree the Bible is a blueprint on how to be. You may have to elaborate on that one. My God, Johnny, appreciate you joining too, man. And I'll just say I'm not on here to try to debate the Bible or anything like that. My intent is who is the being that's reading these books, that's experiencing these religions. Who is Johnny Wise Cash? Who is the being that is reading this blueprint? That is the core of what I focus on. Jesus is not married. Yeah, but I get you, Aretha. I am just a disciple of the Lord Jesus. But you're still not saying that. What is, did God just create you to be a disciple? Did God just create you to be a follower? God didn't create you to, you're not made in God's image. You're just a follower of this other being that said that you're God as well. Like, I don't get that. Jesus is not God. That's fine. No problem with Jesus being a friend. I like Jesus too. I like him so much I became him. And you can become him too. That Christ consciousness is within us all. And that's, once we take these beings off of these pedestals, that you didn't put him on a pedestal. You were taught he was on a pedestal. You haven't come to your own realization. You're just repeating doctrines that you were told. Yeah, you have a relationship, but the thing that you have a relationship is something that you've been told about. This is not something you came into this world with this relationship with. You didn't know anything about Jesus when you came in. You were taught this by other people. Let me see. Looks like we're getting into the Bible, so it is what it is. Well, it is Sunday. We can have a little. I mean, if we want to have a Bible study, we can have a Bible study. I mean, we can go down that rabbit hole. Because there are some things in the Bible that a lot of people don't see involved. So, Jesus is not my religion. That's why I need to have a relationship with him. So that's why you need to have a relationship with him yourself, so no one can control you. But isn't Jesus controlling you if you're following Jesus? I have a lot of theories about the Bible's creation, but that's between me and I. Yeah, and that's the thing. The Bible is a very divisive. It's a very divisive thing. One book. I mean, just look at how many Christian religions there are using the same book, interpreting it in different ways, right? It's very, very divisive. Like here in the South, I'm in the Bible Belt, so I hear this stuff all the time. So it's not like anything new. But there's thousands of churches that say they're all about Jesus, but they're different. Past religion practices, learning yourself. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what it's about, Johnny. It's about learning yourself. You hit it on the nail, man. I mean, that's what it's about. Learning yourself, self-realization. And you can do that without the Bible. You can do that without any religion. You don't need any doctrine to realize who you are. You're that close to yourself already. You don't need anyone else to tell you that. It's just that experience of it. Scale of right or wrong within building yourself. Yeah, I mean, we talked about that earlier, right or wrong. I mean, that can be subjective. You know, my right and your wrong, you know, the whole morality thing. It's really, you know, I guess from a high level, treat other people how you want to be treated. But then you got to watch that too, because certain people don't treat themselves well, and they don't treat you how they want to be treated. They treat you how they treat themselves, because they don't feel like they're anything. They're just sinners. They're, you know, things of that nature. They can have limiting beliefs that were taught to them that make them feel that they can't do things, and that they need someone to save them, and that they're made inferior, and this, that, and the other. Like these are all limiting things that make us feel like we're nothing, right? But that's not true. Yes, he controls me because I sin. Okay, well that's fine. But you still haven't answered the question, Marita. Who are you? That is the question. And I'd love to hear your answer on that. You're telling me all about Jesus, and that's fine. Who is telling me about Jesus? Who is the being telling me about Jesus? Let's see, waking up, I have been observing the past 2 years, hospital for hurting souls. Let's see, lock yourself by locking your chalk. Yeah. I mean, that's part of it. Like, so I mentioned this before. I came to this kind of backwards from the backdoor standpoint. So we talk about chakras and things of that nature. So the body does so much innately, right? I mean, I ate some food earlier, my body's digesting it. There's all of this stuff happening in your body as well. Like I can mention now, up to this point, your body was breathing for you. So now I mentioned breath, and now you're aware, oh, my body was breathing. Now I'm breathing. So your body even breathes for you, even when you sleep, right? So your body does all of these things innately. And the whole point of saying that is that your body can also align yourself innately as well. to where as you set your intention to raise your consciousness, to go within, to realize who you are, I think innately your body figures out how to align your chakras and all of that stuff. So it's a natural process. Hypnosis by Quay, appreciate it. No one can fix your life but our Creator, Jesus Christ. That's not true, Aretha, and you still haven't answered the question. So, so how can you say that and believe they will now see? I believe they all see. How can you say that? How can you say that and believe they will now see? You might have to elaborate a little bit on that. I did see you. I'm not sure. Everything you go through self is your test. Absolutely, John. I'm with you. I'm with you. Where are we at? I was trying to get caught up. I told you I'm a disciple. Yeah, but you're just a label. A disciple is a label. A server is a label. These are all labels. This is a label, right? This is a label on a hat, right? You're a disciple. I mean, you can put your name tag on that. That's just labeling something. But who is, you still haven't answered the question. Everything is in reverse, so you got to see things back. Yeah. We've been flipped and flopped and turned inside out, all the way to confuse us and get us caught in these rabbit holes of things that divide us. And that's why I'm talking to Aretha about who is the being, because it's easy to get caught up in these belief systems and this and these labels and things of that nature. But again, it boils down to who you are, self-realization. Like if you want to have a relationship with Jesus, that's fine. My question is, who is the being having a relationship with Jesus? And you're just giving me labels. You're saying, I'm a follower, I'm this, that, and the other. Those are just labels. You're not defining yourself. Made according to God's image and likeness. That's all I have to say. Yeah, I'm with you. So if you're made in the image and likeness of God, if I take God and make a copy, that's a copy of God. That's the same thing. Just like, you watch a digital movie. They make the movie, they make a copy of it. It's the same thing, same scene. So you are God. You're made in God's image, right? Same image. And that's the thing. That's the thing that people don't realize, right? Part of religion is to make you feel that you're not that. And being made in God's image has nothing to do with any labels or any religion. That's who you are. You can add all the stuff on top of it if you want to, but that's the core of who you are, and that's what we're focusing on. That's what we're focusing on. All right, appreciate it. I did see you. Yeah, I'm gonna get off this thing too in a little bit. Everything outside of yourself is a test to let you in. Yeah. I put this spiritual high intensity field training. So we're in training now, and as long as we don't make the same mistakes twice, we can learn from those mistakes. Yeah, you mentioned that Jesus is not a religion, my friend. Yeah, I got you. My identity is the Son of God through Jesus. Got you. Okay. Then yeah, I'm cool. We're all the sons and daughters of God. No problem with that. And if we're all the sons and daughters of God, it has nothing to do with Jesus or any religion. That's all I'm saying. You can add on to that if you want to. I mean, that's your choice. But I agree with you on what you said. We're all the sons and daughters of God. Period. We don't have to add any other labels to it. But if you want to add this and that, that's your choice. Yeah, and God bless you too. God bless you too. I appreciate you joining in and giving your perspective. This isn't, I'm not trying to debate or argue or anything like that. The whole intent of this is to get to the core of that being and really say what you just said. We're all made in the image of God. And if that's the case, then that's what we are. And we don't need to add anything to that. Part of this reality, part of the problem that we're in is we've added so much to that. And those things that were added are what keeps us divided and fighting each other. And that's part of the whole game plan, so that we don't realize that the thing that we are is what connects us all. All right, y'all. People run from the dark while smiling in the light. Yeah. A lot of people don't want to do the shadow work and face themselves. I've seen that many times, to where they don't want to look at their own demons. And it's easier to point the finger at someone else than to look at yourself. And it takes work to do that, and really question yourself and go within and deal with your own shadow, your own demons, your own mistakes, and all of these things. it takes work. So those people that are doing that, like yourself, I mean, hats off to you. You know, it is work. Being God is different than being man. Man can't handle the most high responsibility. All right, Andrew. Being God is different than being man. So I'm trying to see what you're saying. Being God is different than being man. Man can't handle the most high responsibility. So imagine that there's a part of you that's handling all of the major responsibility, just like your body is handling all of the major responsibility. And your consciousness is just experiencing this, talking and experiencing the senses, doesn't have to digest food, doesn't have to do all the things that your body is doing. So imagine God is like that. God is taking care of all of the background stuff and also experiencing its own creation through you. So it's working on both levels, just like your body's working on both levels. So you are God and man at the same time, but you're more God than man. The God is a part of you, the greater part of you, the being part of you, and the human part is the part that we're experiencing now, this interaction that we've limited ourselves to experience this reality that we have now. Of course, which believes God doesn't force us to serve him, who is the man to do so. Yeah, I mean, God is a very, from a biblical standpoint, I mean, it's a charged term, because are you talking about the God that didn't want Adam and Eve to know about the knowledge of good and evil, or eat from the tree of life, or the jealous God, the God that showed favoritism, the God that killed his own people, the God that created hell? I mean, I don't know. That's a lot of forcing from a supposedly loving being. Kind of doesn't add up. Exactly. Jesus was an added character that came to them. I got you on that. I actually think so there's a story of Jesus in the Bible, right? And I think there was an actual being that character was based on. Just a man like me and you that experienced those same things. But they took his story and converted it into this larger than life character, put him on a pedestal and said he needed to be worshiped. And I think it was actually based on just a being like you and me that was like, hey, he stood up against the church and state. He stood up against the religion of his time, and he stood up against the state. And it was like, this is wrong. You turned this religion into a house of money and whatever. You want to act as a fool. But he stood up against those. And he was just, I think they took that person, made him into something he's not, to be worshipped, to help control the other people. So they wouldn't try to follow his example, because why would you follow an example if there's only one and only, right? If he was just like me and you, then we can all do that as well. But if he's the one and only Son of God, well, there's only one person that can do that. We got to wait on him. First step is to learn thoughts and where they come. Yep. We talk about that in the 100-degree challenge, because you are not your thoughts. Some people identify with their thoughts. Thoughts come and go, you still remain. You're the being observing these thoughts that come and go. Some people identify with their thoughts. So part of the whole meditation deal is to quiet yourself to where you can observe your thoughts, and you realize that just like talking, there's a space in between where I'm talking. I'm not just saying all the words at the same time. There's a space there. There's a space in between your thoughts. And that's really who and what you are, that space in between. Because when you're not thinking, you still exist. And you're definitely not your thoughts. And appreciate the follow, Dana. So yeah, shoot, I've been on this joker for a while. So I appreciate y'all joining in. And we're going to have another Spacecast or podcast that's kind of like this tomorrow at 7. So if you enjoyed this, come back and we'll do it again. But we're really going to be talking about next steps. Like I've mentioned before, I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. I think the people that have taken the red pill have made that choice, and the people that have not have made that choice. And now it's a matter of organizing the people that are already on that level and just showing a greater example for the others. And the bridge is there. It's a timing thing. You know, you can't wake anyone up. I can't wake anyone up. It has to be something that they do for themselves. But we can show an example of that, show them the benefits of that, show them the value of that, how it affects their life. and we can even show them some of the deception that's used against us, and that's their choice, but now people have made their decision, and I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything at this point. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Rod's talk, what's good, man? Yeah, so I think we have the numbers. We have the numbers. It's just we're spread out, we're in different places, and part of the next phase I want to do is travel and start to connect these nodes. We're in different places, we're spread out, but we can show a uniform front. We have the numbers, and they try to gaslight us and make us seem like we're crazy for how we believe and what we've experienced. But thing is, you're gonna have to show. You're gonna have to. It's not gonna work. You can't gaslight a light. You're gonna have to show something other than these beliefs and doctrines and belief systems. And we're just gonna go back to the being that has this belief. That's the Bible thumper, the one that's thumping the Bible. Who is that being? They don't know that, then they're missing out on the fundamental part of their experience of themselves. Hey, what's going on, Dana? What are you up to? Yeah, we were talking. We went into some Bible stuff. This initially started with a Black Jesus and a white Jesus having a conversation, and he had a bad connection, had to drop off. But we were just showing that Christ consciousness doesn't have a color, doesn't have a sex, male, female, whatever, and that's what we're all connected to, and I've just been running my mouth ever since. So that's what we're talking about. Energy is bringing it all together. That's right. Absolutely, absolutely, and we're all part of this. We're all part of this story. And we're all the stars in the story. I'm just an extra in your movie. I've mentioned that before, but as a collective, what's going on here in the story that we're in the middle of creating for humanity is going to be amazing. This is when they talk about Christ coming back. It's not an individual person. It's the Christ consciousness. It's that self-awareness, is being able to realize that you are gods and goddesses. Everyone that's watching this, even the lady that was on here, or the guy that was on here that was saying he was a follower of Jesus and this, that, and the other. You are who you are. We just added so many things to it. The spiritual journey is removing those things from it to reveal what's left. And that thing that's left is what connects us all, right? So that's really what it's about. Gray Goose was good. Not stars, but ships. Hey, yeah. I don't know. I like the star analogy. Now I get the ships too. Like we're stars in our own movies, but we're all captains of our own ships too. So you can look at it that way as well. But some of us are not the captain. Some of us got someone else with the wheel, and we have to take control and take that responsibility. Some of us don't want that because we don't have confidence in ourselves. We think someone else can drive or steer better than we can, or they have better navigation skills than we have. But who knows what's best for you more than you do? You have to have faith and belief in yourself and take control. Otherwise, you can be driven to some places that you don't want to go if you're not in control. I don't know. Years really they come. Like, oh, appreciate the kind words, Slacky. Yeah, so that's all I got right now, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all get to the rest of your Sunday. Django came in late, boss, but I appreciate you dropping in, man. Let's see, I carved with a razor. Yeah, sharp. Yeah, well, I appreciate y'all joining. Like I said, we'll do this again tomorrow at 7, and I really want to just talk about what we're going to do, the next steps. We got the numbers. We got everything we need. We just got to put it together. And, it's going to take all of us. I like this kind of forum where we brainstorm. It's like a think tank, if you will, a spiritual think tank. And we need that. If you think about the amount of resources put to control and limiting, and all the money, all the smart people that they can pay to create things that limit us and keep us divided and things of that nature. We need to have our own think tank. We need to have our own group to combat these things. Yeah, look at that. He's 127. Appreciate you joining. Curtis, what's up? So yeah, that's what this is. And we're documenting this because this is going to be an example for others. Because when you look at where humanity has came from, I mean, we're coming out of a dark, dark hole. And there's momentum with that. Like, there's a momentum of just thousands of years of what we've been going through. So, part of it is to take our foot off the gas and, start slowly joking down, and then we can get back. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's I guess just to comment on the humbleness, Curtis, it's really just we're all part of the same thing. So it's like I'm no greater than anyone on here, even the lady, or I keep saying lady, I thought it was equal. I was talking about Jesus, and I understand that standpoint. I understand the biblical standpoint. I was under that program as well. But we're all one. No one's greater than the other. We're all in the same boat. So, I'm no greater than you. I'm an extra in your movie. You're the stars. Or like Johnny would say, you're the captain. You're running the ship. The thing is, just taking control of that, and let's steer that ship in a better direction, more clearer waters. Let's rise above the clouds, if you will. The whole vikterbang deal is playing on victory over noise. There's a lot of noise in this reality. So vikterbang is rising over the noise, victory over noise. And we get confused in the noise. It's hard to get a clear signal in the noise. And we all have that antenna within us to get that signal from ourselves. And that's what it's about. Moving back into the computer with the level of mind. So moving back there. Gotcha. So using the Jibbity P. What's good, man? Nothing more than hateful Christian love. Uh-oh. Bringing the hateful Christian love in. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah, I do music as well. I got like probably a couple of lifetimes of music that I've just been doing along my journey. I'm gonna start putting it out. But yeah, I do music as well. It's just expressing it in different ways. I've kind of put that on the back burner to focus my time on this. But that's something that I definitely want to get back to. Yeah, we had a good little back and forth with Marikwa about the Bible and Christians and all that stuff. And again, it's do I play keys? A little bit. I play by ear. Like I never learned how to read music or anything like that. But I can get on there and put it together, and it'll sound somewhat decent. So one of the things that I look forward to is actually working with some real musicians that can really do their thing. Most of the stuff I do is just by myself, but yeah, I'm able to put stuff together and make it sound decent. Thoughts on the convoy material. Yeah, I did something on that. I thought it was interesting how the media blackout is on that convoy. I just did a post on that, and we were talking about PR and public relations, propaganda, crystallizing public opinion. What else is it? Engineering of consent. These are ways that they limit us and control us. It's in plain sight. And we were talking about Edward Bernays, Sigmund Freud, and a couple other people, and how they studied herd mentality and how they use these tactics to hurt us in certain directions. And you can see it playing out in the coverage, what they show, what they don't show, how they try to control the narrative and things of that nature. So you can see that they don't want to really bring light to that because it doesn't fit the narrative. They try to paint them one way or the other. Like they try to put them vax versus anti-vax, but they're really anti-mandate, right? Because the majority of them are vax. So it's just an interesting story and a really good example of uniting. And I'd like for us to be able to do that on the spiritual level as well. And but it's interesting just to see the black out there. So they'll probably try to black us out as well. But the thing is, if there's enough of us, it'll be a story one way or the other. And we can get that in the mainstream. It's the hardest thing for people to take that they are electrical. Yeah. Appreciate it, Vince. What do you think about Bill Gates trying to block? Yeah, I heard he was trying, and then it fell off. But that Joker is an interesting character. Bill Gates is an interesting character. I try not to talk about people, and there's certain reasons for it, but certain people, if I had that amount of money, influence, I would be doing things a lot differently than he would be doing. And so I'll just say that. I really don't feel, I don't feel he has our best interests at heart. That's just my opinion. Don't know him from Adam, but there's not many examples of very rich people that are doing things on a level I feel could be done. If I had $1 billion, and I'm gonna work to get it, and just show the example of investing in people and investing in, instead of the trickle down, create a system that trickles up. Right now, the reason that they don't want to do that, because I'm sure they're smart enough to realize that that is a good way to do things. It doesn't, they take their own power away. Now they're not special. We're not special anyway. But if they believe, or they have an ego and they think that their money makes them this, that, and the other, they don't want to create a system to where it's more equal, because then there's nothing that makes them feel special, right? Part of their specialness is because they got a lot of money. Other than that, they're nobody. They're just like me and you. So it doesn't benefit them to create a system that levels the playing field, if you will. But the thing about it, their money, we are the ones that give them the money, right? We're the ones that make them billionaires. So once we realize the 99%, right? It's our money that's going to this 1%. We're the ones doing the work. We're the ones that have the skills and the labor and things of that nature. It's just a matter of just switching it around to where our energy and labor is helping us. It's reinforcing us. It's connecting back to us. It's not trickling up, it's trickling down. We're distributing the funds to ourselves. You know, we're doing the work anyway. We've seen what happens when it goes up to a select few. It doesn't come back down. They just continue to get richer. Look at what happened during the pandemic. Consolidation of wealth on a higher scale. And that's the thing. It's there. It's not like a pie in the sky idea, because we're already doing it. The thing is, the energy that we're already contributing is just plugged into something that's not benefiting us. You know, once we realize that we can plug it back into ourselves, then game over, right? Game over. I did a whole video on 100 pennies. You got one penny controlling 99. Only way they can, one penny controls 99 is if the 99 don't know their value. So they have to program you to make you feel that you're not as valuable as you are. But the 99 has the majority, has the number, has all of this stuff. So once we realize that, switch it around, appreciate the roles. Once we do all that, then that's the new reality. That's it. That's the new reality. That's it, and it's such a simple shift. Like, people think it's odds, it's hard. We gotta, everything we need to create a better reality that's a whole lot better than what we have now is already here. Like, we don't have to create anything new. We don't have to do anything new. We just have to redirect the energy and the things that we're doing now. And we can do that. And it's not as hard as people think. You just don't see examples of it. You just don't see it talked about. You just don't see people thinking about ways to do it. And I think about it all the time. New systems, new ways of interacting with each other. But it's possible. You know, it's definitely possible. And I think that's the new reality, where we just make that simple switch, you know, and we can do that switch. Not everyone has to be on a certain level, right? We talk about red pill and blue pill and things of that nature. We can change this reality that will benefit even the ones that aren't on that spiritual journey, haven't realized that thing. We can still benefit them in positive ways that's going to be better than this reality that they're in now, right? And then maybe they're able to get out of survival mode, survival consciousness, and then they can start, you know, doing their own spiritual work. We got to take them out of survival mode. It's going to be hard to think about higher things when you're just trying to get through the week, you're just trying to survive. Oh, it's in the gamepad. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that, gamer space. So, hey, what's going on? Yeah, so that's, you know, that's it. Like, it's here. And part of what I want to do is just show people that. It's really just showing that vision. And once people get a glimpse of what's possible, And you're not seeing this on the main, just like the whole trucker thing, like they control what's being shown. So there's going to be some suppression of this as well. But the thing is, it's us. We're able to cut out the middleman, cut out the gatekeepers. So we're able to do this regardless of them. Like they want to make us feel like we need the system, right? We are the system. The system needs us, right? We support the system. It's our money that these people are using for whatever, our labor, it's us. We're the cogs in the machine. The thing is, the machine that we're cogs in is just not benefiting us. So let's create a new machine, plug ourselves into that, where it's like a torus. It's regenerating energy back to ourselves. And that's the new reality. That's what we're capable of. I'm talking about it as something that's practical, that's possible, and it's possible. You know, it's something that's on a level. How we do it, now that's the part. That's where we get together. That's where the mastermind and the think tank comes together, because our idea is going to be better than my idea. I have some ideas. I got some frameworks. I've been thinking about it, but it's just a skeleton. But the meat of it is going to be us together, you know, figuring this thing out, because that's going to be the glue. But it's definitely possible. We just haven't been shown that vision because, again, it doesn't benefit the people that try to keep control. And that's just what it boils down to. Yeah, so absolutely, we all have the power. We all have the power. And the quicker we realize that, the sooner we realize that, the quicker we can start to apply that power to positive things. What's going on, Renee? Yeah, and that's it. We've always had the power, like Wizard of Oz, because they put this stuff in our face, you know, predictive programming and things of that nature. I think part of their thing is they don't have the creative ability that we have. So they co-opt our creative ability to create things that they want us to create versus things that we want to create. So our creations benefit them versus us, right? So they're directing our creative energy to something that benefits them and not us. But we're the co-creators. We're part of it. And we've always had the power, just kind of like Wizard of Oz. You know, Dorothy, she had the power all the time. It had nothing to do with the shoes, if you want. You know, we all have the power. They don't want us to be equal. They will, yeah, that part. Yeah. They will. Yeah, because a lot of them don't have the skills and knowledge to, you know, they just call the shots, if you will. Well, some of them are smart and things of that nature, but yeah, they have an inflated ego, and they feel they're above working and things of that nature. But yeah, and that's the thing. We can create this without them. It's like we don't need that mentality involved in this. We can do this ourselves. We're already, again, supplying the labor, the knowledge. I mean, we're the ones supporting this whole thing. It's just going to a select few. So once we realize that, we can direct that to ourselves, to something that's more beneficial to us. Internal slides to keep the, yeah, absolutely. And the fact that we're saying this, Gamer, and we're talking about it, we can see it now. We see what's going on. So we're seeing through the veil. We're seeing through the matrix. We're seeing behind the curtain, and we're seeing that, you know, it's just a guy back there. It's not this green, you know, using the Wizard of Oz analogy, this green thing. It's just a man behind there, just like us. But they use the lies and things to keep us divided and things of that nature. Love the video. Oh, appreciate it. Appreciate it. You go. Yeah, all hands changed. Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, because if a system is based on profit, and that's the system that we're kind of in now, then it doesn't benefit to let things come out that lowers their profit. I mean, these companies are about making money, maximizing profit, bringing shareholder value. That's their thing. It has nothing to do with increasing your quality of life, anything providing value to you. They'll make the products as cheap as possible. They'll make them with planned obsolescence, so you'll buy more. That's what they do. The cheapest labor to make more profit, you know, and profit's an imaginary thing anyway, but that's the game that they play. So things that, you know, would allow free energy, would allow us to live without having to plug into them. Yeah, they want to be against that, because again, they want to maximize profit. So, but that's the game they want to play. You know, doesn't stop us from creating the things that we want to experience, and we don't have to rely on them. People having accidents in there. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, there's a lot of suppression to that. What's good, young girl? Yeah, there's a lot of suppression to that, and you know that has happened. Things have been suppressed. People have disappeared. I mean, people that have spoke out against that. People that, I mean, look at Martin Luther King. I mean, we just had his day not too long ago. He was about equality and things of that nature. And, you know, those they try to suppress it, but they're not going to suppress it. I mean, the light's going to shine regardless. I mean, they're going to be on the wrong side of history. I mean, that's a fact. You can only hold us back for so long, and now the momentum is here, and the awakening is here. People are seeing through things. We're connecting. I mean, just look at the trucker convoy. That's a big thing. That's a big show of unity. So we can do that from a spiritual standpoint as well, and really push things. We can really push things. It's going to take some bravery, but they can't stop us. They can't stop us. You know, they try to use fear and all that stuff, but they can't stop us. They can't stop you. They can't stop me. We can only stop ourselves, and that's part of the programming that they try to give us to limit what we think we're capable of, limit what we should be looking at, limit what we should be doing, because they know once we make our minds up to do something, it's going to be done. All right, y'all. Well, this is, I think, the third time I said I'm going to end it, so I'm going to do it for real this time. And this is going to be online. I think we went for a little while. This is just kind of impromptu thing. We're going to do it again tomorrow at 7, and we're going to be traveling. So hopefully we can interact on a real level. I'm going to be putting together a little package, but I really want to connect the nodes that we're all kind of in separate pockets and things of that nature. And I really want to shed light on the similarities of our journeys, the things that we've come to realize in the different pockets of us, because a lot of us are in isolation. You see, most of the stuff I do, it's by myself. I'm in isolation in the pocket now, but there's other people like you that are in your pockets. So we can connect those pockets and strengthen our connections and show a unified voice and show that we're not crazy. There's more of us, and we make a lot of sense and have a lot of value, and really trying to help on a higher level. And just really want to be a part of that connection. So that's what we're going to start looking at doing. We're going to put out some times and some dates, and we're going to film it. It's going to be part of this this documentary. I've already did one called The Vikterbang Theory. You can look at it on my site, vikterbang.com. It kind of tells the story up to the awakening point. I did a second one called The Sequel. That's already shot. I've got to edit it. And this one is, I don't know what the name of this one's going to be, but this is really putting the show on the road and connecting the nodes, connecting with you guys, and showing it on a larger scale. And it's just not one person. It's a movement, and to show that movement. And that whole exercise, for one, I want to use that as a means to generate funds, so we can start to create our own productions. Because you think about it, this story that we're living in now is greater than any sci-fi story that you see. The real reality is stranger than fiction, right? Definitely. So, and we're on the forefront of that. We're part of that story. And this is, I can't think of a better story to tell, or a better story to be a part of. So there's going to be people that are going to want to gravitate to it and see it and be a part of it. And we can use this to help generate what we're talking about, generate funds for ourselves, and really be the example of us recycling and connecting the nodes internally and unplugging from that system, and really just showing, for one, the potential. It's showing the vision, showing the value, and talking about it in a simple, plain way, and really show the potential and the value of it. And once people see that, then they can start their own questioning, and they can see that it's not just one person, it's a whole group, and that group's getting bigger, and they're making a lot of sense, and they're doing these cool things. And it's going to help me and my family. It's going to help the planet. Why would they want to be a part of that? Why would they want us to hold on to this old paradigm? Because of ego, because of fear, and all of these things. But they're going to hear plenty of stories about people that have left that paradigm, that have got over the fear, that have dealt with these things. So the things that may hold them back, they'll see plenty of examples of people that look like them and don't look like them that have gotten through that and went over and got past those challenges. So it would show an example and just show a big example. And I think we can do that. And that's what I want to be a part of. Spoken word, Mary, what's good? So appreciate everybody joining in. We're going to cut this one short, and we'll pick it up again tomorrow at 7. All right, peace out.